Every day, emotions rise up like an unexpected storm, and without even realizing it, we can find ourselves swept away. Some days it's a surge of anger that ruins an entire afternoon. Other days, it's worry that casts a shadow over every smile or joy that starts to fade before we've even fully experienced it. Life throws plenty our way, and while we're all told to control ourselves, no one really explains how. When we're caught in the tide of emotions, it can feel like being tossed in a churning sea. We might say something we regret, hold on to a grudge that weighs us down, or let our worries turn simple problems into endless stress. And as the days pass, these emotions start to dictate more of what we do, how we think, and even how we see ourselves. But there's a way to live with balance, grace, and a calm that can't be shaken. And it starts with understanding that we aren't our emotions. They don't have to drive the ship. There's a solid ground to stand on, even when things feel overwhelming. And this is where life starts to change. Life has a funny way of presenting the same lesson over and over until we learn it. Those moments when anger rises up unexpectedly, or when insecurity quietly whispers doubts that keep us from going after what we want. All these instances test our resolve. The aim isn't to control every feeling or prevent any pain from reaching us. It's about reaching a point where emotions no longer decide our actions for us. There's strength in learning to step back, observe, and then choose how to respond. And this strength is not only possible, it's within reach for anyone willing to start. Think of the days that seem to flow with ease, when problems are just problems, not overwhelming barriers. In those moments, stress doesn't run the show, calmness does. Peace comes not from a lack of challenges, but from an ability to keep perspective no matter what. Imagine having that calm, unshakable presence, not as a rare occurrence, but as a regular part of life. Imagine emotions rising without taking control, passing like waves, but not determining the path. Now, this isn't just about feeling better or brushing negativity under the rug. It's about real freedom. It's a freedom that comes from knowing that you, not emotions, are making the choices. There are people who carry this calm even through the hardest times. They face the same frustrations, losses, and uncertainties as everyone else, yet they handle them with a resilience that seems almost effortless. How do they do it? They've learned that emotions, while powerful, don't define them. They've built an inner strength that doesn't crumble at the first sign of stress or pain. And here's the truth: they weren't born with this skill. It's not reserved for a select few. Anyone can cultivate it, and it starts with understanding a few simple ideas. First, emotions are natural. They're a part of being human, a part of our brain's way of responding to the world around us. It's not about pretending they don't exist or somehow shutting them off. Emotions are signals. They're there to give information, not commands. They can tell us when something is wrong, alert us to opportunities, or show us what we truly value. However, it's our interpretation and reaction to these emotions that shape our lives. And that's where our power lies, in the space between emotion and action. Think of that moment when anger stirs, or anxiety grips you before a big decision. In that split second, there's an opportunity, a small window of choice, to let it take over or to respond thoughtfully. This pause is where our power lies. It's where we reclaim control. This isn't about pretending or forcing ourselves to feel something different. It's about responding from a place of wisdom rather than impulse. The goal is not to be a stone, unfazed by life's ups and downs, but to be steady, able to meet each moment without being pushed around by it. There's a profound sense of relief that comes with knowing we don't have to react to everything that happens. We can acknowledge an emotion without being swallowed by it. We can feel frustration without letting it drive our words, experience fear without allowing it to paralyze us, and face disappointment without giving in to despair. The beauty of this approach is that it's freeing. It frees us from the roller coaster of emotional highs and lows, allowing us to live more fully, more intentionally, and with a clarity that changes everything. It's important to know that this way of living doesn't mean we won't face challenges. Life will still bring moments of anger, sadness, excitement, and fear, but we'll handle them differently. Instead of being a slave to reactions, we become more of an observer, learning to read each feeling without letting it dictate our choices. This takes practice, of course, but it's a skill that grows with time, and each day is an opportunity to build it. Imagine moving through life where emotions no longer feel like storms, but gentle waves. We can feel without drowning, observe without judgment, and choose without fear. This shift brings us closer to a grounded way of living, a sense of harmony where our internal world isn't swayed by every external change. We all know that peace isn't a destination. It's a practice, a way of showing up day after day, regardless of what happens around us. When we see emotions for what they are, passing signals rather than permanent realities, we create space for inner peace. And that peace is what gives us the strength to act from a place of purpose rather than reaction. Emotions will always arise, but instead of being a prisoner to them, we learn to let them flow without attachment. For many, this might sound difficult, almost like it's asking too much of human nature. But when we start with small steps, observing an emotion instead of immediately reacting, we find that it's not about resisting feelings, but understanding them. Each time we pause before reacting, we reclaim a piece of our freedom. We begin to realize that we are not our emotions. Our identity, our worth, and our potential aren't tied to what we feel at any given moment. And with each practice, we start building the life we truly want, a life where we act with intention, guided by values rather than impulses. This approach doesn't just help us feel better, it makes us stronger. Strength doesn't come from suppressing what we feel, but from handling emotions in a way that serves our well-being. It's about channeling that energy into growth, using every emotion as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Fear becomes a lesson in courage, anger a path to understanding, and sadness a reminder of what matters most. What would life be like if every setback was simply a stepping stone, or if every emotional wave passed without sweeping us away? We'd move through life lighter, more resilient, and at peace with ourselves. This is not a distant dream, but a choice we make every day. Every moment we choose calm over chaos and wisdom over impulse, we build that steady foundation. It becomes a habit, a strength that doesn't just change how we feel, but how we live. The beauty of this journey is that it's never too late to start. Every step toward understanding our emotions is a step toward freedom, a freedom that isn't about avoiding what we feel, but embracing life fully, without being held back by what's temporary. We learn to be present, to find clarity, and to meet life's highs and lows with a steady heart. In a world that often pushes us to react quickly, to feel deeply without balance, choosing a steady path is a revolutionary act. It's a choice to live with wisdom, to reclaim our calm, and to be fully alive without losing ourselves in the process. This is a journey worth taking because the rewards are beyond measure. They are peace, resilience, and a life that feels truly free. So, here we are at the start of a journey where emotions become a part of life, not the whole story. It's a path where we are no longer slaves to what we feel, but masters of how we live. And that's where the transformation begins. Here's a thought that will hit close to home. How often do we find ourselves tangled in the struggle to control every emotion that surges up inside? We fight to push anger back, to keep sadness away, to grasp at happiness. And when it slips, we hold on tighter, afraid it will vanish. Yet, despite our best efforts, emotions seem to have a mind of their own, slipping through our grasp the moment we think we've got a handle on them. It's exhausting and, strangely enough, doesn't seem to work. So why do we do it? Why do we try to control our emotions, believing that if we just try harder, we'll be able to stop pain or hold on to joy forever? Understanding this illusion of control is the first, and perhaps the most powerful, step toward freedom from emotional suffering. The truth is, our attempts to control emotions lead to the very suffering we're trying to avoid. When we understand why, we're free to take a wiser approach, focusing instead on what's within our reach, how we respond, how we perceive, and how we live in harmony with our inner world. The first thing to recognize is that emotions are, by nature, reactions to what's happening within and around us. They arise from thoughts, experiences, memories, expectations, and interactions. They come up, seemingly from nowhere, and they come in all forms: intense, subtle, short-lived, lingering. Emotions are like the weather. Just as we can't force sunshine on a rainy day, we can't simply force ourselves to be happy, calm, or motivated when we're feeling otherwise. Trying to control emotions is like trying to change the natural flow of a river with a bucket. The river will keep flowing, and our attempts to manipulate it with a small, temporary tool won't change its course. This doesn't mean we're powerless or at the mercy of our emotions. It means that instead of attempting to change emotions themselves, we can change how we respond to them. Imagine the peace that comes from realizing that while we may feel anger or sadness, these emotions don't have to dictate what we do next. When we stop trying to control them, they lose their grip on us. Emotions become less like handcuffs and more like signals, a valuable source of information that we can learn from without being overwhelmed. So, why does trying to control emotions lead to suffering? When we resist an emotion, our resistance often creates more tension. Suppose anger arises, and instead of acknowledging it, we try to stifle it, telling ourselves not to feel that way. That anger doesn't disappear. It builds up, suppressed like pressure in a closed bottle. Eventually, that pressure finds an outlet, often in ways that bring more harm than good. Similarly, when we try to hold on to happiness, fearing it will leave, we place so much pressure on that happiness that it becomes fragile, easily shattered by the slightest disturbance. It's as though the harder we try to hold an emotion in place, the more elusive it becomes. This resistance comes from a misunderstanding. We often think that feeling certain emotions, anger, fear, sadness, is wrong or harmful. But in truth, these emotions aren't inherently bad. They're signals, reflections of our inner and outer experiences, responses that our minds and bodies use to navigate the world. When we view emotions as bad or undesirable, we place ourselves in opposition to a natural part of life, and this opposition creates friction, tension, and suffering. It's not the emotion itself that brings pain, but the resistance we create around it. Now, if the goal isn't to control emotions, what is it? The answer is learning to observe them with a calm mind, focusing on managing our reactions rather than trying to manipulate the feelings themselves. Think of emotions as waves on the surface of an ocean. We don't have to fight each wave, nor do we have to be tossed about by them. Instead, we can learn to ride them, staying steady and grounded. This approach shifts our focus from control to acceptance, from resistance to observation. When we practice observing emotions, we create space between feeling and reaction. In this space, we gain clarity, the chance to decide how we want to respond. For example, if frustration arises, instead of immediately reacting with harsh words or tension, we can take a moment to notice the feeling. We recognize it as frustration, nothing more, nothing less. It's a moment to breathe, reflect, and choose. Rather than letting frustration take over and drive our actions, we're in the driver's seat. This skill of observing emotions requires practice, but it grows over time. One of the best ways to start is with mindful breathing. When a strong emotion arises, taking a few slow, deep breaths creates that pause, that essential gap. Breathing deeply shifts our attention from the emotion to the act of breathing, calming the body and the mind. In those moments, we're less likely to be carried away by what we feel and more able to respond thoughtfully. Over time, we come to see emotions as part of life's rhythm. They ebb and flow, come and go, but they don't define us. By letting go of the need to control, we find freedom in acceptance. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves to suffering or passively allowing emotions to overwhelm us. Acceptance is an active process, a choice to recognize emotions without letting them dictate our actions. It's a courageous stance, facing what we feel without needing to alter or escape it. One profound benefit of this approach is that it frees us from the exhausting cycle of emotional highs and lows. When we let go of control, we no longer chase good emotions or push away bad ones. We experience each one without attaching our sense of peace or happiness to it. This creates a stable inner life, one that doesn't crumble when joy fades or when sadness arises. Emotions still flow, but they don't disrupt the foundation we've built within. This way of living also fosters resilience. When we're not entangled in the illusion of control, we become stronger, able to face challenges without being undone by them. Resilience is about being able to meet life as it is, without demanding that it conforms to our wishes. It's about standing firm in the midst of storms, knowing that emotions will come and go, but our peace doesn't depend on their presence or absence. This resilience is what allows us to live fully, to take risks, to love deeply, and to meet life's highs and lows with an open heart. To cultivate this resilience, practice is key. Start by noticing your reactions throughout the day. Pay attention to moments when you feel the urge to control, whether it's trying to force yourself to feel happy or struggling to stop feeling anxious. In those moments, remind yourself that the goal isn't to control the feeling, but to respond wisely. Let yourself feel without acting on impulse. Over time, this practice builds inner strength, creating a peaceful center that emotions can't easily disturb. There's a powerful release in knowing that emotions don't have to define our lives. We can experience anger without becoming angry people. We can feel sadness without being consumed by sorrow. This understanding gives us freedom. When we stop trying to control emotions, we're free to experience them fully, learning from each one. Instead of fighting against the tide, we flow with it, grounded in our own stability. The path to managing reactions rather than controlling emotions is not always easy. It requires patience, courage, and a willingness to face what arises within us. But each step brings us closer to a life where we are no longer at the mercy of fleeting feelings. We cultivate a steady, enduring peace that carries us through even the most challenging times. And with this peace comes a profound sense of freedom. The freedom to live authentically, to act from a place of wisdom rather than impulse, to navigate life's waves with confidence and grace. Ultimately, the journey is about reclaiming our inner power, not by force, but by understanding. Emotions are not obstacles to overcome or enemies to defeat. They're part of our humanity, rich with insight and meaning. By understanding this, we live with more compassion, more strength, and a deep, unwavering calm. And that, in itself, is a kind of quiet victory. A victory that doesn't need applause or fanfare, but one that transforms every part of our lives. Emotional mastery doesn't end with understanding the illusion of control. It moves further into how we relate to emotions as they arise. This journey deepens when we learn to step back from emotional storms, not by resisting them, but by observing them with a clear, steady mind. Consider the feeling of clarity and control that comes from watching your emotions with calm detachment. Rather than letting them pull you along, you learn to notice them as if from a distance, free from their grip. This practice of detachment allows you to see emotions as temporary visitors rather than powerful forces, a shift that brings freedom and resilience. To practice detachment, first recognize that emotions are experiences within you, not facts about the world around you. Emotions are like stories we tell ourselves, interpretations shaped by memories, fears, and desires. A single situation can bring up completely different reactions in two people simply because of how they perceive it. Realizing this lets you take a step back and see emotions for what they are, reactions, not realities. Instead of immediately believing the story emotions tell, you can view them from a distance. This distance is where detachment begins, providing a space where you can decide whether or not the emotion deserves your full attention. Detachment, however, is not about becoming numb or indifferent. It's about holding emotions lightly, understanding that they are not as permanent as they seem. When anger or sadness arises, it feels all-consuming in the moment. Detachment reminds us that emotions are passing states, waves that rise and fall. The skill lies in allowing them to be there without clinging to them. A detective observes without getting involved. Similarly, you can observe anger or fear as if studying it, noticing the thoughts and physical sensations that accompany it. This act of noticing creates room for calmness, a powerful antidote to being overwhelmed. Building the habit of detachment takes practice. Start by noticing the sensations that accompany each emotion. When anxiety arises, for instance, pay attention to your heartbeat, your breath, the tension in your muscles. By focusing on these physical sensations, you shift your attention from the intensity of the emotion itself to its impact on your body. This simple shift can prevent emotions from spiraling out of control, bringing you back to the present moment, where you have the power to choose your response. Noticing physical sensations serves as an anchor, grounding you when emotions feel intense. One of the most effective ways to detach is through mindfulness. This involves watching emotions arise without labeling them as good or bad. Emotions like sadness or anger often come with judgments. We think sadness is undesirable or anger is dangerous. But when you observe emotions without judgment, they lose much of their power. Instead of thinking, "I shouldn't feel this way," you acknowledge the feeling without self-criticism. This practice lets emotions come and go naturally, without the resistance that often magnifies them. Each time you practice detachment, you reinforce a calm presence within yourself. Over time, this presence becomes a strong foundation that emotions cannot easily shake. Think of detachment as a way to cultivate an inner observer, a part of you that watches with interest but remains unperturbed. This observer is not uncaring or indifferent. It is deeply aware but free from the need to control. This awareness lets you engage with life fully without being swayed by every emotional wave. By observing emotions like a detective, you become less reactive and more resilient. To deepen detachment, work on challenging the stories that emotions tell you. Emotions often carry assumptions. Fear tells us we're in danger. Sadness says things are hopeless. Anger declares that something is wrong. But when we look closely, these stories are rarely absolute truths. Fear can arise even when there is no real threat. Sadness can come from assumptions about the future. Challenge these narratives by asking questions. Is this fear based on reality, or is it a reaction to uncertainty? Is this anger truly justified, or is it arising from unmet expectations? By questioning emotions, you loosen their grip, separating reality from reaction. Another key part of detachment is remembering that you are not your emotions. When sadness or anger arises, it feels like part of you, as if your entire identity is wrapped up in that emotion. But detachment reminds you that emotions are experiences within you, not reflections of who you are. Just because you feel anger doesn't mean you are an angry person. Just because sadness comes doesn't mean you are a sad person. This realization is incredibly freeing. When you see emotions as visitors, you stop identifying with them, giving yourself the space to choose your response rather than reacting impulsively. In moments of strong emotion, practice observing without getting involved. This may feel difficult at first, especially with intense emotions like frustration or jealousy. But each time you watch without reacting, you build a habit of detachment. This habit gradually becomes a natural way of interacting with emotions. Rather than being swept away, you learn to stand as a silent witness, noticing what arises without letting it control you. The more you practice, the more your ability to remain steady in the face of emotions grows. One of the biggest benefits of detachment is that it frees up mental energy. When you're constantly reacting to every feeling, life feels chaotic and overwhelming. Emotions drain your focus and energy, making it difficult to stay centered. Detachment conserves this energy, allowing you to use it for things that truly matter. By not engaging with every fleeting feeling, you keep your mind clear and focused, grounded in what is important rather than what is immediate. This clarity helps you make better decisions, respond with wisdom, and approach life's challenges with resilience. Detachment also fosters compassion, both for yourself and others. When you observe emotions without judgment, you become kinder toward your own struggles. You understand that emotions are part of the human experience, not failures or weaknesses. This compassion extends to others as well. By recognizing that everyone experiences emotional turmoil, you approach people with empathy, realizing that their reactions are often shaped by their own emotional struggles. This understanding creates deeper, more harmonious relationships, free from judgment and filled with patience. In moments of conflict, detachment allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than defensively. When someone criticizes you or says something hurtful, the immediate reaction is often to feel attacked. But through detachment, you learn to take a step back, observing your reaction without letting it control you. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, you respond with calmness, perhaps even empathy. Detachment prevents minor issues from escalating into major conflicts, fostering harmony and reducing stress. Over time, detachment brings a sense of inner peace. By observing emotions rather than being entangled in them, you cultivate a calmness that doesn't depend on circumstances. This peace isn't the absence of emotion, but a stability within it. Life will still bring challenges, surprises, and changes, but they no longer disturb your inner calm. You carry this peace with you, a quiet strength that enables you to face anything that arises. And with this peace comes freedom, a freedom to live fully, unburdened by the ups and downs of emotional turbulence. Detachment also helps in making wiser choices. When emotions no longer cloud your judgment, you see situations with clarity. Decisions are based on what aligns with your values and goals, rather than on temporary feelings. This clarity leads to actions that are purposeful and fulfilling, building a life rooted in stability rather than reactivity. With detachment, each decision is an opportunity to align with your true self, rather than with the fleeting whims of emotion. This practice of detachment also transforms how you experience happiness and joy. Instead of clinging to positive emotions out of fear that they will disappear, you enjoy them fully, knowing that they too are part of life's natural flow. Joy becomes less about holding on to a moment and more about fully experiencing it, free from the anxiety of loss. This approach brings a richer, more sustainable sense of well-being, one that doesn't depend on constant happiness, but on an appreciation for all emotions as they come and go. The journey of detachment is one of liberation, a path to an inner calm that isn't shaken by the storms of life. By observing emotions like a detective, you cultivate a steady heart and a clear mind, qualities that guide you through both the ordinary and the extraordinary. This practice doesn't remove emotions from life, but transforms your relationship with them, creating a life that is free, resilient, and at peace. In detachment, we find not only the strength to face life's challenges, but the freedom to live fully, grounded in clarity and guided by wisdom. Detachment from emotional turmoil helps us observe feelings with clarity, but to sustain peace of mind, the way we perceive and interpret situations also requires thoughtful attention. Every day, challenges appear, some expected, others surprising, and it's natural to interpret these events with worry, frustration, or disappointment. Yet how we frame these events can make all the difference between inner turmoil and lasting peace. By learning to reframe situations, we transform how they affect us, replacing feelings of helplessness with a steady sense of control. This process, often called cognitive restructuring, allows us to consciously reshape our perspectives. Instead of defaulting to worst-case scenarios, we can train our minds to view challenges with optimism, understanding that situations themselves are neutral. It's our interpretation that gives them weight. When we learn to change how we think about situations, we gain peace of mind, even in the face of unexpected or difficult events. Reframing isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing a broader perspective that frees us from the grip of negative thinking. At the heart of reframing is the realization that thoughts are not always accurate reflections of reality. Many times we view events through the lens of past experiences, fears, or assumptions. For instance, an unexpected criticism might trigger feelings of failure, or a setback may lead to self-doubt. But when we look closer, we see that our response is not to the situation itself, but to the story we're telling ourselves about it. Recognizing this distinction is powerful. It gives us the freedom to question our initial reactions and choose more constructive interpretations. One effective approach to reframing is to consider alternative explanations. When faced with a situation that seems overwhelmingly negative, ask what else might be true. If someone is distant, it's easy to assume they are upset with us, but there could be countless reasons for their behavior. By considering multiple explanations, we prevent our minds from jumping to conclusions. This practice helps us view situations from a place of curiosity rather than judgment, opening our minds to perspectives that bring calm instead of stress. Reframing also involves shifting from catastrophic thinking to balanced, realistic assessments. Catastrophic thinking is a common reaction, especially when faced with unexpected problems. It's the tendency to focus on worst-case outcomes, often blowing small issues out of proportion. For example, missing a deadline might lead to fears of career failure, or an argument could feel like the end of a relationship. But these extreme thoughts rarely reflect reality. By actively questioning and challenging them, we return to a more balanced perspective, allowing us to see the situation clearly without exaggerating its impact. Another valuable part of reframing is focusing on what can be learned from each situation. Challenges often feel negative because they disrupt our plans or expectations. But within every difficulty lies an opportunity to grow, to learn something valuable. By shifting attention from what went wrong to what can be gained, we turn setbacks into lessons. This doesn't remove the difficulty, but it transforms our experience of it. Instead of feeling defeated, we feel empowered, viewing each challenge as a stepping stone rather than a barrier. A powerful tool in reframing is self-compassion. Often, negative situations trigger harsh self-criticism, a tendency to blame ourselves or feel inadequate. But when we treat ourselves with kindness, we reduce the weight of negativity. Self-compassion means acknowledging that we, like everyone else, face difficulties. Instead of viewing challenges as personal failures, we see them as part of the shared human experience. This mindset not only softens our response to setbacks, but also builds resilience, helping us recover and move forward with confidence. Reframing also teaches us the value of patience. When faced with a difficult situation, the impulse is often to seek immediate answers or solutions. But sometimes, time and distance are the best tools for gaining clarity. By allowing ourselves to pause, to step back, we create space for insight to emerge. Patience gives us room to see things from a broader perspective, free from the urgency that often clouds our judgment. This practice brings peace by teaching us that not everything requires an instant solution. Some answers unfold naturally over time. One practical technique for reframing is to look for the silver lining in each situation. This doesn't mean ignoring the negative aspects, but rather acknowledging the positive elements that coexist with them. Even in challenging moments, there are often hidden benefits, a new lesson, an unexpected insight, a chance to strengthen resilience. By actively seeking out these positive aspects, we shift our focus from loss to gain, fostering a mindset that sees value in every experience. Reframing negative situations also involves letting go of perfectionism. Often, distress arises from unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves or others. When things don't go as planned, we may feel disappointed or frustrated, seeing the situation as a failure. But perfection is an illusion, an unattainable standard that only leads to disappointment. By embracing imperfection, we free ourselves from this rigid expectation, learning to accept situations as they are, rather than as we wish them to be. This shift in perspective fosters a sense of peace, allowing us to move forward without the weight of unrealistic standards. Gratitude plays a central role in reframing as well. Even in difficult situations, there are things to be grateful for: support from loved ones, lessons learned, the strength to overcome challenges. By focusing on gratitude, we build resilience, reminding ourselves that no situation is entirely negative. Gratitude helps us stay grounded, countering the effects of negativity by bringing attention to the positive elements in our lives. This shift doesn't deny hardship. It simply balances it with an awareness of the good that still exists, creating a perspective that is both realistic and hopeful. Reframing also invites us to focus on what we can control rather than what we cannot. Many situations are distressing because they involve elements beyond our control: a job loss, an illness, someone else's behavior. But by directing our attention to what we can influence, our reactions, our choices, our outlook, we regain a sense of agency. This focus on what's within our control gives us strength and peace, allowing us to navigate challenges with confidence rather than frustration. It's a reminder that while we may not control external events, we do control our inner world. Another key aspect of reframing is finding meaning in adversity. Often, the most challenging situations lead to the greatest growth, shaping us in ways we couldn't have predicted. By looking for the deeper meaning in each experience, we transform difficulties into sources of wisdom. This shift doesn't eliminate the pain of hardship, but it gives it purpose, helping us see challenges as part of a larger journey rather than isolated struggles. Finding meaning in adversity fosters resilience, providing a sense of direction and purpose even in the darkest times. When reframing negative situations, it's also helpful to focus on solutions rather than problems. When we dwell on the problem itself, we become stuck in negativity, feeling overwhelmed and helpless. But by shifting attention to possible solutions, we regain control, actively working toward a positive outcome. This approach keeps us forward-focused, encouraging us to take constructive steps rather than feeling defeated by circumstances. Solutions-oriented thinking empowers us, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Reframing is about cultivating an optimistic outlook. Optimism doesn't mean denying difficulties or expecting everything to go perfectly. It means believing in the possibility of positive outcomes, even in challenging situations. Optimism encourages us to stay hopeful, to believe that things can improve and that setbacks are temporary. This mindset fosters peace, helping us navigate life's ups and downs with a steady heart and a resilient spirit. Optimism, combined with a balanced perspective, creates a foundation of peace that sustains us through all of life's uncertainties. As we develop these reframing skills, we build a lasting inner peace, a calm that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Challenges will still arise, but they no longer disrupt our sense of well-being. We face each situation with clarity, resilience, and an unshakable peace of mind. Reframing transforms how we experience life, allowing us to live fully, guided by wisdom and strengthened by hope. This practice is a journey of inner freedom, a way to live with courage and peace, unburdened by the weight of negativity. As we deepen our ability to reframe negative situations, the journey naturally leads to a powerful companion on this path: self-awareness. To truly master our thoughts and emotions, understanding ourselves becomes essential. Self-awareness is more than just noticing our emotions or recognizing patterns. It's a focused, ongoing exploration of the inner landscape where our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors arise. This insight becomes a key that unlocks the reasons behind our reactions, the roots of our triggers, and the unseen forces that shape our daily choices. Developing self-awareness is like adjusting the lens through which we see ourselves, bringing clarity where once there was only assumption. To begin with self-awareness, start by observing your emotions as they arise, paying attention to what triggers them. Often, these triggers are subtle: a phrase, a glance, a change in tone, but they reveal powerful insights into our deepest sensitivities. By observing these triggers, we begin to recognize the patterns that cause us to react impulsively. Perhaps a simple question from a friend provokes irritation, or a minor setback triggers self-doubt. Noticing these responses gives us clues about what lies beneath the surface. Are these reactions rooted in past experiences? Are they responses to personal insecurities? Identifying the origins of these triggers helps us understand the thoughts fueling them, illuminating our internal world in ways that can transform our emotional responses. A vital part of self-awareness is understanding our beliefs, as they shape how we perceive situations and influence our emotions. These beliefs often operate silently, yet they form the foundation of our reactions. For example, if we hold a belief that we must always succeed, any small setback can trigger anxiety or frustration. Recognizing these underlying beliefs helps us question whether they serve us or create unnecessary stress. By examining and challenging these beliefs, we empower ourselves to make choices that align with our well-being rather than being driven by rigid expectations. Self-awareness, in this way, becomes a practice of dismantling the automatic beliefs that may be leading us toward unhappiness. Self-awareness also reveals unhelpful patterns in our behavior. These patterns are often so ingrained that we don't realize they're there, silently guiding our actions and reactions. For instance, A tendency to avoid conflict might prevent us from addressing important issues, while a pattern of overthinking may cause stress over small decisions. By identifying these habits, we gain the freedom to choose responses that better serve our intentions. Instead of being trapped in familiar cycles, we begin to create new ones rooted in clarity and purpose rather than habit or fear. Developing self-awareness also means embracing vulnerability, as this journey can sometimes reveal uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Perhaps we notice a tendency to judge others harshly, or we uncover insecurities that we've hidden even from ourselves. But these discoveries, though challenging, are essential for growth. By acknowledging these aspects without judgment, we accept ourselves fully, moving away from self-criticism and towards self-understanding. Embracing these truths allows us to respond to life authentically, free from the need to mask our vulnerabilities. In doing so, we build an inner foundation that is strong, resilient, and grounded in acceptance. Another important aspect of self-awareness is recognizing how we communicate with ourselves. Often, the language we use in our own minds is harsh or critical, reinforcing negative beliefs. This inner dialogue shapes our perception of ourselves and our ability to handle challenges. By practicing self-observation, we notice these patterns and can begin to replace them with gentler, more constructive language. Instead of berating ourselves for a mistake, we approach it with kindness, asking what we can learn. This shift in self-communication not only boosts self-esteem, but also builds a compassionate approach that fosters growth rather than discouragement. Self-awareness also involves noticing how we seek validation, whether from others or from external achievements. Often, we unknowingly place our self-worth in the hands of others, feeling confident only when we receive praise or approval. This reliance on external validation creates a dependency that can lead to self-doubt when praise is absent. By recognizing this tendency, we reclaim our sense of self-worth, no longer depending on others' opinions to feel secure. This awareness helps us nurture a steady confidence that isn't shaken by outside influences, allowing us to approach life from a place of inner security. Practicing self-awareness enhances our ability to live in the present moment, as it encourages us to be mindful of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions in real time. This awareness of the present prevents us from dwelling on past regrets or anxieties about the future, grounding us in the here and now. In this space, we find clarity, allowing us to make decisions based on current realities rather than past experiences or future fears. Living in the present brings peace, as we learn to let go of what we can't control and focus instead on what we can influence in the moment. Self-awareness also empowers us to take responsibility for our actions. By observing our reactions, we see how they impact our relationships, work, and personal well-being. This understanding encourages us to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, creating positive outcomes instead of conflict or regret. Taking responsibility for our actions fosters maturity, helping us grow into individuals who navigate life with wisdom rather than reactivity. This shift toward accountability also strengthens our relationships as we communicate openly and respectfully, enhancing understanding and reducing misunderstandings. A key element of self-awareness is recognizing how our environments influence us. From the people we spend time with to the media we consume, our surroundings shape our thoughts and feelings. By observing how different environments affect us, we gain control over our mental and emotional states. If certain situations or people consistently trigger negative emotions, self-awareness allows us to create boundaries that protect our well-being. This doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but rather making intentional choices that support our mental health, enabling us to thrive rather than merely cope. Another transformative aspect of self-awareness is recognizing our emotional boundaries. Often, we unconsciously absorb others' emotions, letting their moods or opinions affect our own sense of peace. Through self-awareness, we learn to separate our emotions from those around us, maintaining inner calm regardless of external influences. This ability to maintain emotional boundaries strengthens our resilience, allowing us to offer support without becoming overwhelmed by others' challenges. It fosters a stable sense of self, grounded in our own values and perspectives rather than swayed by others' emotional states. Self-awareness also helps us recognize when we need rest, reflection, or time for self-care. Often, we push ourselves to keep going, ignoring signs of fatigue or stress. This lack of self-awareness leads to burnout and exhaustion, affecting our physical and mental well-being. By tuning into our needs, we can prioritize self-care without guilt, understanding that rest is essential for sustained growth. Listening to our bodies and minds allows us to maintain energy and focus, supporting a balanced and fulfilling life. Developing self-awareness ultimately brings us closer to a sense of purpose, as it reveals what truly matters to us. By understanding our values, goals, and desires, we align our actions with our deepest intentions. This alignment creates a life that feels meaningful, one that reflects our authentic selves rather than societal expectations or external pressures. Living with purpose brings joy, resilience, and fulfillment, allowing us to move through life with clarity and confidence. Self-awareness in this way becomes the foundation for a purposeful and intentional life. In cultivating self-awareness, we also cultivate gratitude as we become attuned to the positive aspects of our experiences. By noticing the small moments of joy, kindness, and growth in our daily lives, we develop a mindset of appreciation. This gratitude not only enhances our emotional well-being, but also strengthens our resilience, helping us navigate challenges with a balanced perspective. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what we have, creating a sense of abundance that fosters peace and contentment. Through self-awareness, we also learn to embrace change, recognizing it as a natural part of growth. By observing our reactions to change, we see where resistance arises and how it impacts our peace of mind. Instead of fearing change, self-awareness allows us to approach it with curiosity, seeing it as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. This openness to change builds flexibility and adaptability, qualities that enhance our resilience and help us thrive in an ever-evolving world. As we continue this journey of self-awareness, we develop an unshakable inner strength. This strength doesn't come from controlling every thought or emotion, but from understanding them deeply, responding to them with wisdom rather than reactivity. With self-awareness, we become our own guide, navigating life with a steady heart and a clear mind. This journey transforms our relationship with ourselves, fostering peace, resilience, and a life lived with intention and purpose. Building self-awareness strengthens our understanding of inner triggers and patterns, empowering us to live more fully aligned with our true selves. The next step in this journey is learning to remain steady in the face of others' judgments or exclusions. Too often, our peace of mind wavers because we give too much weight to how others view us. Practicing rational indifference is the skill of remaining unfazed by opinions and focusing instead on self-validation. This approach frees us from the grip of external judgment, allowing us to live with a steady sense of self-worth that isn't dictated by others. Rational indifference begins with the understanding that everyone interprets the world, including us, through their own filters, shaped by beliefs, experiences, and emotions. When someone offers an opinion, positive or negative, It says more about them than it does about us. Recognizing this can be liberating, as it shifts our focus from pleasing others to understanding ourselves. By letting go of the need for approval, we no longer feel pressured to conform, giving us the freedom to make choices that genuinely reflect our values and desires. This practice also involves detaching from the idea that social acceptance equals personal worth. Human nature often seeks belonging, but when our self-esteem depends on others' approval, we become vulnerable to rejection, exclusion, or criticism. Rational indifference allows us to break free from this dependency, seeing our worth as independent of social validation. This doesn't mean we isolate ourselves or reject others' views entirely. It means we stop equating their acceptance with our self-value. Instead of relying on external validation, we cultivate an internal sense of worth, one that is steady and grounded. One way to foster rational indifference is by developing internal standards for validation. Rather than measuring success by others' praise or criticism, we define our own criteria based on personal growth, integrity, and effort. When we base our self-worth on these internal standards, we gain a stable foundation that others' opinions can't easily shake. This approach strengthens confidence, allowing us to approach life's challenges without fear of judgment. By measuring ourselves against our own values rather than others' expectations, we find peace in knowing that we're aligned with what truly matters to us. Practicing rational indifference also involves recognizing that people's opinions are fleeting. One day, someone may praise us. The next, they may criticize us for the same action. Opinions shift with mood, experience, and circumstance. Realizing this helps us detach from the need to constantly please others, as their views are inherently unstable. By choosing not to react to every changing opinion, we save energy, focusing instead on what brings true fulfillment. This doesn't mean we ignore feedback, but rather that we filter it through our own values, accepting only what resonates with our personal growth. Another key aspect of rational indifference is learning to handle rejection with resilience. Rejection can feel painful, often triggering feelings of unworthiness or insecurity. But rejection itself is not a reflection of our value. It's a natural part of life, shaped by others' preferences, circumstances, or biases. By practicing rational indifference, we learn to view rejection as a neutral event, one that doesn't diminish our worth. This approach empowers us to pursue our goals with courage, knowing that others' acceptance or rejection doesn't define our potential. Each rejection becomes an opportunity to strengthen our self-confidence, reminding us that we are complete, regardless of external validation. Developing rational indifference also involves practicing compassion toward ourselves. Often, the fear of others' opinions arises from a tendency to judge ourselves harshly. By treating ourselves with kindness, we build a compassionate inner voice that supports us in moments of doubt or criticism. This self-compassion creates a buffer against external judgments, helping us stand firm in our worth. When we are kind to ourselves, we are less likely to seek constant reassurance from others, finding comfort in our own acceptance. This compassionate approach nurtures resilience, allowing us to face criticism with grace rather than defensiveness. To strengthen rational indifference, it's helpful to focus on the things we can control. Others' opinions are beyond our control, but how we respond to them is entirely within our power. When we redirect our energy toward actions, attitudes, and choices that reflect our values, we reclaim our sense of autonomy. This focus on personal responsibility frees us from the need to monitor others' reactions, giving us the space to act with integrity rather than anxiety. By focusing on what we can control, we cultivate a peaceful inner world that isn't easily shaken by external opinions. Rational indifference also teaches us the importance of self-acceptance. When we fully accept ourselves, flaws and all, we become less affected by criticism or rejection. Self-acceptance allows us to embrace our unique qualities without seeking permission from others. This doesn't mean we stop striving for growth. It means we approach self-improvement from a place of self-love rather than self-doubt. Self-acceptance provides a stable foundation, helping us navigate social interactions without constantly questioning our worth. This internal stability is a powerful tool for resilience, enabling us to maintain peace in any situation. In cultivating rational indifference, it's also valuable to understand the difference between respect and validation. Respect from others is earned through actions that align with our values, but validation is not something we need to seek. Respectful relationships are built on mutual understanding and trust, not on a constant need for approval. By focusing on being respectful rather than validated, we foster healthier connections, ones that aren't burdened by the need for reassurance. This approach strengthens relationships, creating bonds based on genuine connection rather than a dependence on others' opinions. Developing rational indifference also involves reframing criticism as a neutral or even beneficial event. Often, criticism triggers defensiveness, making us feel inadequate. But not all criticism is personal or meant to harm. Some of it offers valuable insights for growth. By viewing criticism objectively, we can take what's useful and leave the rest, using it as a tool for self-improvement rather than as a measure of our worth. This approach allows us to respond calmly to feedback, integrating what resonates and discarding what doesn't. Rational indifference turns criticism into a resource, helping us grow without sacrificing self-esteem. One powerful exercise in rational indifference is practicing detachment from labels. Society often labels people based on appearance, achievements, or perceived flaws, and these labels can become limiting if we internalize them. By consciously detaching from labels, we see ourselves beyond the categories others place on us. We recognize that our identity is far richer than any label can capture, encompassing strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and values. This detachment helps us approach life authentically, free from the pressure to fit into prescribed roles. We become comfortable in our uniqueness, confident that our worth transcends labels. Rational indifference also invites us to redefine success on our terms. Society often promotes success based on status, wealth, or recognition, but these external markers don't necessarily bring fulfillment. By defining success according to our own values, growth, kindness, creativity, resilience, we free ourselves from the need to prove ourselves to others. This shift in perspective allows us to pursue goals that genuinely matter to us, creating a life that feels meaningful and aligned with our true selves. Rational indifference in this way fosters a sense of purpose that is grounded in inner fulfillment rather than external validation. Cultivating rational indifference also involves practicing gratitude for who we are, independent of others' approval. Gratitude shifts our focus from seeking validation to appreciating our own qualities and experiences. By valuing our unique strengths and perspectives, we nurture a sense of self-worth that isn't swayed by others' opinions. This gratitude for self creates a foundation of confidence, helping us remain steady in the face of criticism or exclusion. Gratitude reminds us that we are whole, capable, and complete, regardless of others' approval or acknowledgement. In moments of self-doubt, practicing rational indifference involves returning to our core values. Our values define what matters most to us, providing a compass that guides us even when external opinions conflict. By grounding ourselves in our values, we make decisions that align with our true intentions, unburdened by the fear of judgment. This alignment with values builds integrity, fostering a deep sense of peace that isn't easily shaken by others' views. Living according to our values gives us a stable sense of self, one that stands firm in any social situation. Rational indifference, at its heart, is about finding inner freedom. It's the freedom to live authentically, to make choices based on our values, and to interact with others from a place of confidence rather than fear. This freedom allows us to engage with life fully, unafraid of rejection or criticism, embracing our unique path without hesitation. Rational indifference liberates us from the confines of external validation, guiding us toward a life that is peaceful, resilient, and true. As we cultivate rational indifference and begin to free ourselves from the weight of others' opinions, we create space for a deeper sense of peace rooted in self-acceptance. But to build an enduring foundation of emotional resilience, we need an anchor that strengthens and nurtures this inner calm, even when life presents challenges. This anchor is gratitude. Far more than a fleeting sense of thankfulness, gratitude transforms our perspective, grounding us in positivity and helping to counter the impact of negative emotions. Through simple, intentional practices, gratitude nurtures a resilient mindset that supports us in times of difficulty, enabling us to see life through a lens of abundance rather than lack. Gratitude works its magic by shifting our focus from what's missing to what's present. In moments of stress or disappointment, it's easy to fixate on problems, but this focus often magnifies negativity, making challenges feel overwhelming. By practicing gratitude, we redirect our attention to aspects of life that bring comfort, joy, or fulfillment. This shift helps to balance emotions, allowing us to respond to difficulties with perspective and calm. Gratitude doesn't remove the challenges, but it acts as a counterbalance, reminding us that there is still good to be found, even amid hardship. One simple exercise to begin cultivating gratitude is to reflect each day on 3 positive aspects of your life. These can be anything from a meaningful conversation to a moment of laughter to something as simple as a warm cup of tea. Writing them down or saying them aloud reinforces this positive focus, allowing us to internalize the feeling of appreciation. This daily practice gradually trains the mind to seek out positivity, making gratitude a natural response rather than a forced activity. The more we practice, the more resilient we become, with gratitude becoming a source of inner strength that supports us through ups and downs. Another powerful gratitude practice is to focus on the people in your life. Often, we take our relationships for granted, forgetting the support, love, and companionship they bring. By actively appreciating the people around us, we nurture a sense of connection that strengthens our emotional well-being. Simple acts of expressing thanks, whether a kind word, a thoughtful message, or a moment of acknowledgement, cultivate an environment of appreciation, enriching our relationships and, in turn, reinforcing our resilience. This practice helps us realize that we are never truly alone in facing challenges, fostering a sense of shared support. Practicing gratitude also involves learning to appreciate small, everyday moments. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to overlook the beauty of ordinary experiences, the warmth of sunlight, the calm of a quiet morning, the comfort of a favorite book. By slowing down to savor these moments, we cultivate a mindful presence that reduces stress and strengthens our ability to handle difficulties. This approach builds emotional resilience by helping us recognize that joy doesn't only come from big achievements, but can be found in the simplest parts of life. This perspective brings balance, allowing us to navigate life's challenges without losing sight of the good that surrounds us. Gratitude also teaches us to embrace imperfections. Life is rarely perfect, and holding unrealistic expectations often leads to disappointment. By appreciating things as they are, rather than as we wish them to be, we learn to accept life's natural ebb and flow. This acceptance fosters a balanced outlook, one that isn't shaken by every setback. Practicing gratitude for imperfections, whether in ourselves, others, or situations, creates a resilience that isn't easily rattled. Instead of feeling frustrated by what's lacking, we appreciate what is, allowing us to move through life with grace and stability. To deepen gratitude, we can practice reframing negative experiences as opportunities for growth. When faced with a difficult situation, it's natural to feel discouraged, but gratitude encourages us to look for hidden lessons or strengths that the challenge may bring. Perhaps a setback teaches us patience, or a conflict helps us develop clearer boundaries. This reframing turns hardship into a source of strength, enabling us to grow even in adversity. By seeing challenges as growth opportunities, we build a resilient mindset, one that views life's difficulties not as obstacles, but as stepping stones. Gratitude also has the unique power to soften our response to negative emotions. Anger, sadness, or frustration can feel overwhelming, but when we anchor ourselves in gratitude, these emotions lose some of their intensity. By acknowledging both the difficult feelings and the positive aspects of life, we maintain emotional balance, preventing negativity from taking over completely. This balanced approach allows us to feel emotions without being controlled by them, strengthening our resilience and helping us navigate emotional highs and lows with steadiness. Practicing gratitude involves being thankful not only for what we have, but also for what we've experienced. Reflecting on past challenges and recognizing the growth they've brought can deepen our appreciation for resilience. By acknowledging the ways we've overcome difficulties before, we build confidence in our ability to handle future challenges. This practice reinforces a sense of inner strength, reminding us that we have the resources to face whatever comes. Gratitude for past resilience becomes a foundation for future resilience, providing a steady base that helps us approach life with confidence. In moments of comparison or envy, gratitude serves as a powerful antidote. It's easy to look at others and feel lacking, but this mindset often breeds dissatisfaction. By practicing gratitude for our own unique journey, we shift our focus from what others have to what we possess. This perspective fosters contentment, helping us appreciate our path without longing for someone else's. Gratitude helps us see that our worth isn't determined by comparison, but by our own experiences and growth. This shift from comparison to appreciation cultivates emotional resilience, freeing us from the emotional turmoil that comparison often brings. Gratitude also encourages us to give back, strengthening our sense of purpose and connection. When we feel grateful, it's natural to want to share that positivity with others, whether through acts of kindness, support, or encouragement. By extending gratitude outward, we create a ripple effect, positively impacting others and, in turn, reinforcing our own resilience. This cycle of giving and receiving builds a supportive network that strengthens our emotional foundation, creating a community of shared gratitude that uplifts us in times of need. Practicing gratitude includes acknowledging the resilience of others, not just our own. By appreciating the strength, courage, or kindness of people around us, we reinforce a sense of shared humanity. This awareness fosters empathy, helping us see that everyone faces challenges. In moments of difficulty, this shared understanding becomes a source of comfort, reminding us that we're not alone. Appreciating others' resilience not only deepens our connection to them, but also strengthens our own as we draw inspiration from their courage and perseverance. One practical way to cultivate gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Writing down things we're grateful for each day reinforces a positive mindset, creating a habit of appreciation. This practice doesn't require grand moments. It can include simple things like a good meal, a productive day, or a moment of laughter. Over time, this journal becomes a source of encouragement, especially during tough times, reminding us of the good that persists even when life feels challenging. This ritual fosters resilience by building a reserve of positivity that we can draw from when needed. Gratitude also teaches us to release control, a lesson that strengthens emotional resilience. Often, stress arises from trying to control every aspect of life, but gratitude helps us focus on the present, appreciating what is rather than wishing for what could be. By letting go of the need to control, we reduce anxiety, creating a mindset that is open, adaptable, and resilient. This acceptance brings a sense of peace, allowing us to move through life's uncertainties with grace and trust rather than fear. Practicing gratitude also deepens our appreciation for our own strengths and achievements. In moments of self-doubt, reflecting on personal milestones, talents, or qualities reminds us of our capabilities. By recognizing our own value, we build a foundation of self-confidence that supports us in difficult times. This inner appreciation becomes a steady source of resilience, helping us approach challenges with a belief in our ability to overcome them. Gratitude for self empowers us, creating a self-reliant strength that isn't easily shaken. Gratitude cultivates a life of fullness, where we're no longer defined by what we lack, but by what we cherish. This shift in focus transforms our experience, allowing us to live with a sense of abundance, resilience, and joy. Through gratitude, we find strength not in avoiding difficulties, but in embracing them with a heart open to growth. It is a practice that doesn't remove challenges, but reframes our response to them, fostering resilience that carries us through any storm. Gratitude, in this way, becomes both a path and a destination, guiding us toward a life that is rich, balanced, and resilient. Gratitude builds a resilient inner world, allowing us to approach life with a sense of balance and peace. But sustaining that inner peace often requires setting boundaries that protect our mental and emotional well-being. Boundaries are essential to maintaining a space where we can cultivate gratitude, resilience, and calm. Without them, our energy becomes scattered, constantly influenced by the demands and opinions of others. Setting personal boundaries empowers us to create a mental space free from disrespect and emotional intrusion, allowing us to focus on what truly matters and maintain harmony within ourselves. Establishing boundaries begins with understanding our limits. Each person has their own level of tolerance for interactions, responsibilities, and expectations. Often, stress arises when we extend ourselves beyond what feels comfortable, attempting to meet others' demands without considering our own needs. By becoming aware of our limits, we recognize when to say no and where to draw the line. This awareness isn't about closing ourselves off, but about honoring our own energy and well-being. Knowing our limits allows us to interact with others from a place of strength rather than obligation, reducing resentment and fostering healthier relationships. A powerful tool for setting boundaries is clear communication. Many times, boundaries are compromised because they remain unspoken. We assume others know what we need, but without clear communication, misunderstandings arise, leading to frustration. By expressing our boundaries openly, we create transparency, allowing others to understand and respect our needs. Whether in relationships, work, or social settings, being clear about our limits strengthens respect on both sides. This clarity prevents emotional intrusion and ensures that our mental space remains protected. It creates a mutual understanding that fosters harmony, helping us connect with others without compromising our own peace. Setting boundaries also means learning to say no without guilt. Many people feel obligated to say yes to requests, fearing disappointment or conflict. But constantly agreeing to others' demands can drain our energy, leaving little room for self-care or personal growth. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect, affirming that our well-being is a priority. This doesn't mean rejecting others without reason. It means recognizing when saying no is necessary to maintain balance. With practice, saying no becomes a skill that reinforces our boundaries, helping us focus on commitments that align with our values. Another important aspect of boundaries is protecting our emotional energy. Each interaction we have carries an emotional exchange, and some interactions can feel particularly draining. By setting boundaries around our emotional energy, we become selective about whom and what we invest in. This doesn't mean distancing ourselves from everyone, but rather choosing relationships and activities that uplift rather than deplete us. By preserving our energy for people and situations that support our well-being, we create a positive environment that fosters inner peace and growth. This approach helps us engage with life fully without feeling emotionally exhausted. Creating boundaries also involves setting limits on time and attention. Time is a finite resource, and without boundaries, it can be easily consumed by external demands. By setting time limits, we prioritize what's important, allowing us to focus on personal goals and self-care. This doesn't mean avoiding responsibilities, but rather managing them in a way that respects our own needs. When we control our time, we gain freedom to pursue activities that nurture our spirit, bringing a sense of fulfillment and peace. Boundaries around time ensure that our mental space remains free from unnecessary stress, allowing us to approach life with clarity. Boundaries are also essential in managing the influence of others' opinions. Often, we let the views of others shape our decisions, fearing judgment or rejection. This can lead to a life lived for others rather than ourselves, filled with actions that don't align with our true intentions. By setting boundaries around others' opinions, we reclaim our autonomy, choosing actions that reflect our values rather than external expectations. This freedom from judgment brings peace, allowing us to make choices confidently, guided by our inner compass rather than others' perceptions. Boundaries around opinions ensure that our sense of self remains intact, grounded in authenticity. Setting boundaries also requires practicing self-compassion. When we establish limits, it's common to feel guilt or fear of being seen as selfish. But self-compassion reminds us that boundaries are a form of self-care, not selfishness. By treating ourselves with kindness, we overcome the guilt associated with saying no or setting limits. This compassion allows us to prioritize our needs without apology, creating a mental space where peace and self-respect coexist. Practicing self-compassion helps us stand firm in our boundaries, knowing that we are honoring ourselves in a healthy and balanced way. Another vital element of boundaries is maintaining physical space when necessary. Sometimes, maintaining inner peace requires physical distance from situations or individuals that disrupt our well-being. Physical boundaries are not about avoiding others, but about creating a space where we can recharge, reflect, and find calm. By recognizing when we need physical space, we protect our mental state, allowing ourselves time to regain clarity and perspective. This physical distance fosters resilience, enabling us to interact with others from a place of balance rather than reaction. Boundaries around physical space nurture our inner peace, providing a sanctuary where we can restore our energy. Setting boundaries also involves creating mental filters that protect us from negativity. Life is filled with both positive and negative influences, and without boundaries, we risk absorbing negativity that impacts our mental state. By consciously choosing to limit exposure to negative thoughts, media, or conversations, we safeguard our mental space. This selective approach helps us maintain a balanced perspective, focusing on constructive thoughts rather than being weighed down by negativity. Mental filters act as a shield, allowing us to stay centered and resilient, unshaken by external disturbances. These boundaries protect our peace, fostering a positive mindset that supports growth. Boundaries also extend to our personal responsibilities. Many people take on more than they can handle, driven by a desire to help others or avoid letting anyone down. While generosity is valuable, overextending ourselves can lead to burnout. By setting boundaries around our responsibilities, we ensure that our energy remains balanced, allowing us to give without depleting ourselves. This approach doesn't mean refusing to help others. It means recognizing our own limits and choosing commitments mindfully. Boundaries around responsibilities create a sustainable balance, helping us contribute positively without compromising our well-being. Creating boundaries requires consistency. It's not enough to set limits once. Maintaining them requires ongoing effort and reinforcement. Often, others may test our boundaries, either intentionally or unintentionally. By consistently upholding our boundaries, we communicate that our limits are non-negotiable, fostering respect and understanding. This consistency builds a sense of trust in ourselves, reinforcing our commitment to our own peace and well-being. Each time we uphold a boundary, we strengthen our inner resolve, creating a stable foundation that others come to recognize and respect. Boundaries also help us navigate difficult conversations. In interactions that challenge our peace, boundaries provide a guide for how we communicate. By knowing our limits, we can address issues calmly without becoming defensive or reactive. Boundaries allow us to express our needs clearly, creating an atmosphere of mutual respect, even in challenging discussions. This approach fosters healthier communication, reducing misunderstandings and building trust. With boundaries in place, we handle conflicts constructively, maintaining our peace while fostering positive relationships. Establishing boundaries also allows us to embrace vulnerability with confidence. Vulnerability is essential for deep connections, but without boundaries, it can leave us feeling exposed. By setting boundaries around what we share and with whom, we create a safe space for genuine connection without compromising our emotional safety. This selective sharing fosters trust, allowing us to be open without fear of judgment or intrusion. Boundaries around vulnerability enable us to build connections that are both authentic and protected, creating relationships rooted in mutual respect. In practicing boundaries, we also develop resilience. Life will always present situations that test our peace, but boundaries provide a buffer that helps us navigate these challenges with strength. By knowing our limits, we remain grounded, unshaken by external pressures. This resilience enables us to face difficulties without sacrificing our well-being, creating a mindset that is adaptable and secure. Boundaries become a source of stability, allowing us to remain peaceful in the midst of change or uncertainty. Boundaries also empower us to take responsibility for our own emotions. Often we blame others for how we feel, but boundaries remind us that our emotional well-being is our responsibility. By setting limits on what we accept from others, we protect our mental state, taking ownership of our reactions. This approach fosters maturity, helping us navigate emotions with clarity and purpose rather than impulsivity. Boundaries create a mental space where we can process emotions without feeling overwhelmed, reinforcing our inner peace. Ultimately, setting boundaries is about creating a life that reflects our values and intentions. Boundaries help us design a mental space where peace, resilience, and authenticity thrive, allowing us to live fully without losing ourselves in external demands. This process brings clarity, empowering us to engage with life from a place of strength and self-respect. Through boundaries, we cultivate an inner world that remains peaceful and steady, regardless of the circumstances around us. This practice transforms our experience, enabling us to approach life with balance, fulfillment, and unwavering peace. Boundaries help create a life of inner peace, but sustaining that peace often requires letting go of people and situations that no longer value our presence or efforts. Recognizing when to stop investing in relationships that don't offer reciprocal respect or appreciation is essential for maintaining emotional well-being. Letting go of unreciprocated efforts doesn't mean abandoning compassion or giving up on others lightly. It means understanding when continuous giving harms our own peace, shifting our energy towards self-appreciation instead. This shift allows us to cultivate connections that bring mutual support, respect, and joy, rather than draining us of our sense of self. Recognizing when to let go begins with observing the nature of our interactions. In a balanced relationship, both parties feel seen, valued, and respected. However, when our efforts go unrecognized or unreturned over time, it creates an emotional imbalance that can lead to resentment, self-doubt, or exhaustion. By acknowledging these imbalances, we gain clarity, understanding that one-sided relationships often create more harm than good. This realization opens the path to letting go of unreciprocated efforts, allowing us to preserve our energy for relationships that genuinely support us. A helpful approach in this process is reflecting on our motivations. Often, the desire to help or please others stems from a genuine place of kindness. But if we repeatedly invest in someone who doesn't value our efforts, we may be driven by a deeper need for approval or validation. Recognizing this need helps us detach from seeking approval in the wrong places. It shifts our focus inward, allowing us to find validation within ourselves rather than from those who fail to appreciate our worth. By understanding our own motivations, we free ourselves from the cycle of seeking acceptance where it cannot be found. Learning to let go also requires releasing the need for closure or change. Many times, we hold on to relationships, hoping that the other person will eventually reciprocate, acknowledge our efforts, or offer closure. But waiting for change often keeps us stuck in a state of longing, investing emotional energy into something beyond our control. Letting go means accepting that closure doesn't always come from others. Sometimes it's a choice we make for ourselves. This acceptance is empowering, as it allows us to reclaim our emotional freedom without depending on another's actions or responses. Self-compassion plays a central role in letting go of unreciprocated efforts. Ending a one-sided relationship can bring feelings of guilt or doubt, especially if we've invested significant time or energy. By practicing self-compassion, we acknowledge that our needs and boundaries are valid. This kindness toward ourselves creates a supportive inner environment where we feel safe honoring our limits. Self-compassion reminds us that it's okay to prioritize our well-being, helping us let go without regret or self-judgment. This gentle approach makes it easier to move forward, knowing that we deserve relationships where our efforts are valued. Redirecting energy towards self-appreciation is a key part of letting go. When we withdraw efforts from one-sided relationships, we gain time and energy that can be used to nurture ourselves. By focusing on self-appreciation, we build a stronger sense of self-worth that doesn't rely on others' validation. This practice involves celebrating our own strengths, recognizing our accomplishments, and appreciating the qualities that make us unique. Through self-appreciation, we strengthen our foundation, making it less likely that we'll fall into patterns of unreciprocated efforts in the future. Another important aspect of letting go is embracing the discomfort that can accompany it. Often, we hold on to unreciprocated relationships because the thought of ending them feels unsettling. However, growth often involves stepping into discomfort. By accepting this discomfort as a natural part of the process, we allow ourselves to move forward without fearing the unknown. This willingness to face discomfort strengthens our resilience, helping us release attachments that no longer serve us. With each step, we build the courage to create healthier connections that reflect our values and bring genuine fulfillment. Letting go also involves setting clear boundaries around how much we give. By defining limits on our time, energy, and emotional investment, we prevent one-sided dynamics from arising in the first place. This doesn't mean withholding kindness or generosity. It means giving thoughtfully, with awareness of our own well-being. Setting these boundaries encourages us to prioritize reciprocal relationships, ones where both parties offer mutual respect and care. This approach fosters healthier connections and allows us to engage with others without compromising our inner peace. An essential part of letting go is recognizing the value of solitude. Often, the fear of being alone can keep us in unreciprocated relationships, clinging to the idea that any connection is better than none. However, solitude can be profoundly enriching. By spending time alone, we learn to enjoy our own company, discovering strengths and interests that may go unnoticed in the company of others. Embracing solitude builds independence and self-reliance, helping us realize that our worth isn't defined by others' presence. This inner stability gives us the confidence to let go of relationships that don't honor our value. Practicing gratitude for ourselves also supports the process of letting go. Instead of focusing on what we didn't receive from others, we can shift our attention to the qualities and actions that reflect our own worth. Gratitude for self helps us recognize the effort, resilience, and kindness we bring to the world. This perspective reinforces self-respect, reminding us that we are deserving of relationships where our efforts are reciprocated. By focusing on our own contributions, we create a foundation of gratitude that nurtures self-worth, making it easier to let go of relationships that don't align with our values. Letting go also encourages us to embrace change as a positive force. Relationships naturally evolve, and not every connection is meant to last. By accepting change, we open ourselves to new experiences and people who may bring greater harmony and fulfillment. This openness to change fosters adaptability, allowing us to navigate relationships with a balanced perspective. Instead of clinging to the past, we embrace the possibilities that the future holds, creating space for relationships that enhance our well-being and reflect our growth. Self-empowerment is another valuable outcome of letting go. When we stop investing in relationships that don't value us, we reclaim our power, directing it toward pursuits that uplift us. This shift in focus encourages us to pursue our goals, passions, and dreams with renewed energy. By investing in ourselves, we build a life that reflects our true aspirations, free from the limitations of unreciprocated relationships. This self-empowerment enhances our sense of autonomy, reminding us that our happiness and fulfillment are within our control. Letting go of unreciprocated efforts also deepens our understanding of self-worth. When we continuously give without receiving, it can chip away at our confidence. But by choosing to let go, we affirm that our worth isn't measured by others' responses. This affirmation strengthens our self-respect, helping us approach relationships with a clear sense of our own value. By understanding our worth, we create a standard for future relationships, choosing connections that reflect mutual appreciation rather than one-sided effort. Letting go of unreciprocated efforts brings a sense of liberation. Releasing attachments to people who don't value us frees us from the emotional weight that often accompanies one-sided relationships. This freedom allows us to pursue connections that are joyful, balanced, and enriching. With each step toward letting go, we create a life that honors our worth, surrounded by people who respect and value our presence. This choice to prioritize self-respect over unreciprocated efforts transforms our experience, fostering a life of balance, resilience, and true fulfillment. Letting go of unreciprocated efforts allows us to reclaim our energy and focus on building relationships that honor mutual respect. Yet, to truly experience freedom in our connections, we must cultivate emotional independence, a state of inner strength where our sense of self-worth isn't tethered to the approval, opinions, or validation of others. Emotional independence gives us the foundation to navigate life with confidence and resilience, allowing us to feel whole regardless of external circumstances. By fostering this independence, we create an unshakable core that keeps us grounded, free from the highs and lows that dependence on others' validation can bring. At the heart of emotional independence is the practice of self-validation. Self-validation involves recognizing and honoring our own feelings, achievements, and efforts without needing others to affirm our worth. This practice begins with shifting our focus inward, celebrating personal progress and acknowledging the value of our actions. Often, we look to others to affirm what we already know deep inside, whether it's a job well done or an effort made with sincerity. By affirming our own efforts, we reinforce our self-worth, freeing ourselves from the need for constant external approval. Self-validation strengthens our sense of identity, helping us understand that our value doesn't fluctuate based on others' recognition. Another key aspect of emotional independence is cultivating self-trust. Trusting ourselves means believing in our abilities, judgment, and decisions, even when others might doubt or question them. This trust empowers us to make choices based on our values and goals, rather than on the fear of disapproval. Building self-trust involves taking responsibility for our actions, learning from our experiences, and developing confidence in our ability to handle challenges. With each decision made from self-trust, we reinforce a resilient sense of independence, knowing that we are capable of navigating life's complexities without relying on external guidance or validation. Emotional independence also involves becoming comfortable with solitude. Many people fear being alone, associating solitude with loneliness or lack. However, solitude can be a powerful tool for self-discovery, offering a space to explore our own thoughts, feelings, and desires without outside influence. By embracing solitude, we learn to enjoy our own company, strengthening our sense of self and reducing the need for constant interaction. This comfort in being alone builds resilience, allowing us to approach relationships from a place of fullness rather than need. Solitude provides the clarity to understand ourselves deeply, fostering an independence that enhances both personal growth and relational balance. A powerful way to cultivate emotional independence is by practicing self-compassion. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, especially during moments of struggle or self-doubt. When we rely on others for comfort or encouragement, we become vulnerable to their presence or absence. But by offering ourselves compassion, we create an internal support system that remains steady, regardless of others' availability. Self-compassion also helps us forgive ourselves for mistakes, reducing the need for outside reassurance. This practice builds emotional strength, creating a foundation of self-love that supports us through all of life's challenges. Emotional independence also requires setting and respecting personal boundaries. When we rely on external validation, we often overextend ourselves to please others, ignoring our own needs in the process. Boundaries help us maintain our energy and protect our well-being, allowing us to engage with others without sacrificing our self-respect. By setting boundaries, we reinforce the understanding that our worth is not determined by how much we do for others. Boundaries also help us maintain a sense of autonomy, reminding us that we have the right to prioritize our needs. This approach fosters a balanced independence where we can connect with others without compromising our inner peace. Developing emotional independence involves understanding that our emotions are our responsibility. When we rely on others to make us feel happy or secure, we place our well-being in their hands. Emotional independence teaches us to take ownership of our feelings, finding ways to create inner calm without depending on external sources. By learning to soothe ourselves through practices like meditation, mindfulness, or journaling, we cultivate resilience. This approach allows us to experience emotions fully, knowing that we have the tools to process them independently. Taking responsibility for our emotions frees us from the dependency that can disrupt our peace, allowing us to remain grounded in any situation. A crucial part of fostering emotional independence is developing self-awareness. Self-awareness helps us recognize patterns of dependence, revealing moments when we seek validation outside ourselves. By observing these patterns, we gain insight into why we might feel compelled to look for approval, allowing us to address underlying insecurities. Self-awareness also enhances our understanding of our needs, guiding us toward practices that support emotional independence. This awareness serves as a compass, helping us navigate relationships with clarity and authenticity, reducing the need for others to fill gaps in our self-perception. With self-awareness, we become empowered to make choices that align with our true selves. Practicing gratitude for oneself is another essential element of emotional independence. When we constantly seek validation, we overlook our own strengths and achievements. By cultivating gratitude for our qualities, talents, and efforts, we build a sense of inner appreciation. This gratitude strengthens our sense of worth, helping us realize that we have inherent value regardless of others' opinions. Self-gratitude nurtures confidence, reducing the need for external affirmation. It shifts our focus from what we lack to what we possess, reinforcing a mindset of abundance that supports emotional resilience. By valuing ourselves, we foster an independence that is both empowering and fulfilling. Emotional independence also involves embracing our individuality. When we rely on others' validation, we often conform to expectations or try to fit a mold. Embracing individuality means honoring our unique perspective, style, and values without fearing judgment. This approach frees us to live authentically, reducing the pressure to seek approval. Embracing individuality builds confidence, helping us connect with others from a place of authenticity rather than need. This independence creates relationships that are based on genuine connection, where both parties respect each other's uniqueness without relying on each other for validation. Developing emotional independence encourages us to let go of comparison. Constantly measuring ourselves against others can erode self-worth, creating a cycle of self-doubt. By focusing on our own path and progress, we reduce the urge to seek validation through comparison. This shift helps us recognize our own journey as valuable, independent of others' achievements. Letting go of comparison allows us to appreciate our growth, free from the need to match others' standards. This self-acceptance strengthens emotional resilience, helping us celebrate our uniqueness and build a life that reflects our true values and goals. A practical way to nurture emotional independence is to set personal goals that align with our passions. When we pursue goals based on our interests rather than external expectations, we develop a sense of purpose that is rooted in our own desires. This purpose fuels motivation and fulfillment, independent of others' opinions. By setting goals that reflect our passions, we become self-driven, creating a source of satisfaction that doesn't rely on outside approval. This internal motivation strengthens emotional independence, fostering a sense of achievement and pride that is entirely our own. Developing a supportive inner dialogue is also essential for emotional independence. Often, self-doubt or criticism arises from internalized voices of others' judgments. By cultivating a kind, encouraging inner voice, we create a foundation of support that is free from external influences. This supportive dialogue builds confidence, allowing us to approach life with self-assurance. Instead of seeking validation, we offer ourselves encouragement, creating an inner resilience that isn't easily swayed by others' opinions. A positive inner dialogue becomes a reliable source of strength, fostering independence and empowering us to face challenges with confidence. Emotional independence also invites us to detach from the need for approval in our decisions. Many people hesitate to make choices without seeking others' input, fearing judgment or disapproval. By trusting our own judgment, we reclaim our decision-making power, reducing the need for reassurance. This trust in ourselves fosters self-confidence, enabling us to take risks and pursue goals that reflect our true desires. By making choices based on our own insights, we create a life that is uniquely ours, filled with decisions that resonate with our values. This autonomy strengthens our sense of self, creating an independence that is both liberating and fulfilling. Learning to value our journey without external praise is another step toward emotional independence. When we rely on praise to feel validated, we become vulnerable to others' opinions. By celebrating our journey without needing acknowledgement, we cultivate a resilient sense of self-worth. This appreciation for our path reduces the need for constant approval, helping us find joy in the process rather than in recognition. This shift in focus nurtures a lasting sense of fulfillment as we come to value our experiences and growth independently of others' validation. Ultimately, cultivating emotional independence creates a life that is grounded, resilient, and free. By learning to validate ourselves, trust our decisions, and embrace our unique qualities, we build a foundation of self-worth that remains steady through life's changes. Emotional independence isn't about isolation. It's about connecting with others from a place of inner strength, free from the need for validation. This independence empowers us to navigate relationships, challenges, and achievements with clarity and confidence, guided by our own sense of worth. Through emotional independence, we create a life of true fulfillment, where inner peace and self-respect form the core of our experience. Emotional independence provides the foundation for a life guided by inner strength and self-worth. But to sustain this resilience, daily practices that nurture and reinforce our sense of value become essential. One of the most powerful of these practices is self-affirmation, a mindful approach that involves actively affirming our own worth, abilities, and unique qualities. Self-affirmation is not just about reciting positive phrases. It's a practice of grounding ourselves in truths that define who we are, independent of others' opinions or judgments. By embracing self-affirmation, we cultivate a resilient self-belief that anchors us through life's challenges, empowering us to thrive from within. Self-affirmation begins with identifying the qualities we genuinely value in ourselves. Often, self-worth becomes entangled in societal standards or others' expectations, leading us to overlook the strengths that make us uniquely valuable. Self-affirmation invites us to shift focus inward, recognizing the qualities that contribute to our well-being and fulfillment. Whether it's resilience, kindness, creativity, or integrity, acknowledging these qualities affirms our inherent worth, reinforcing the understanding that our value is not tied to external approval. This daily recognition becomes a powerful reminder of our strengths, creating a foundation of self-appreciation that is both genuine and lasting. Practicing self-affirmation also involves challenging limiting beliefs. Many of us carry internalized doubts or fears that undermine self-worth, often without realizing it. These limiting beliefs act as barriers, shaping our perception and actions. By practicing self-affirmation, we confront these beliefs, replacing them with affirmations that reflect our potential and capacity for growth. For instance, if a belief tells us we are not good enough, affirming that we are worthy and capable rewires this narrative, empowering us to approach life with confidence. Through consistent affirmations, we reframe our self-image, fostering a mindset that supports our goals rather than limits them. Self-affirmation also nurtures a compassionate relationship with ourselves. Too often, we judge ourselves harshly, expecting perfection or berating ourselves for mistakes. Affirmations of kindness and patience remind us that we deserve the same compassion we offer to others. By affirming that we are deserving of kindness, we build an inner environment that supports growth rather than criticism. This compassion creates resilience, allowing us to navigate setbacks without damaging our self-esteem. Each affirmation of self-compassion reinforces a sense of unconditional self-worth, reminding us that we are valuable regardless of outcomes or mistakes. A meaningful aspect of self-affirmation is recognizing our accomplishments, both big and small. In the pursuit of external validation, we often overlook our own progress, feeling unfulfilled or inadequate. By affirming our achievements, we shift focus to our own journey, celebrating growth and effort rather than waiting for praise. Whether it's completing a project, learning a new skill, or facing a personal fear, acknowledging these achievements affirms our capabilities, enhancing self-worth. This practice of recognition reinforces confidence, helping us see that our journey is rich with progress, regardless of others' acknowledgement. Another important element of self-affirmation is creating affirmations that align with our values and goals. Generic affirmations, while positive, may not resonate deeply. By crafting affirmations that reflect our specific values, such as integrity, creativity, or compassion, we create a practice that feels authentic and meaningful. These affirmations serve as daily reminders of who we aspire to be, grounding our actions in our core beliefs. This alignment reinforces a sense of purpose, strengthening our commitment to live authentically. Through this intentional practice, self-affirmation becomes a reflection of our highest aspirations, empowering us to embody these qualities fully. Self-affirmation also builds resilience against external criticism. In a world where opinions are abundant, criticism is inevitable, and without inner affirmation, we can become vulnerable to doubt. By regularly affirming our worth and capabilities, we create a buffer that shields us from the sting of negative feedback. This doesn't mean ignoring constructive criticism. It means approaching it from a place of confidence rather than insecurity. With self-affirmation, we can assess feedback objectively, integrating what is helpful without allowing it to shake our self-belief. This resilience fosters emotional stability, enabling us to navigate challenges with a steady sense of self. Incorporating self-affirmation into our daily routine also cultivates mindfulness. Each time we affirm our worth, we pause, reflect, and connect with our inner selves. This mindful presence brings clarity, helping us understand our emotions, desires, and motivations. Self-affirmation becomes a practice of self-awareness, guiding us to act in alignment with our true selves rather than reacting to external pressures. This mindfulness nurtures peace as we learn to center our focus on what truly matters. By creating space for self-reflection, self-affirmation fosters a balanced perspective, grounding us in our inner truth rather than the noise of the outside world. A valuable aspect of self-affirmation is its ability to counteract negative self-talk. The mind naturally gravitates toward criticism, often replaying past mistakes or focusing on perceived shortcomings. Self-affirmation interrupts this cycle, replacing negative thoughts with statements that uplift and support us. For example, affirming that "I am capable of growth" challenges thoughts of inadequacy, creating a more constructive mindset. This shift reduces the emotional weight of self-criticism, helping us approach ourselves with patience. Over time, self-affirmation creates a mental environment that fosters positivity, resilience, and self-belief, transforming how we relate to ourselves. Practicing self-affirmation also reinforces independence in our relationships. When we affirm our own worth, we become less reliant on others for validation. This independence frees us to engage in relationships without seeking constant reassurance, allowing for deeper, more authentic connections. By affirming that we are whole and complete, we approach relationships from a place of fulfillment rather than need. This independence enriches our connections as we interact with others out of genuine interest rather than dependency. Self-affirmation strengthens our self-respect, empowering us to set healthy boundaries and nurture relationships that align with our values. Self-affirmation also helps us embrace change with confidence. Life is filled with transitions, from career shifts to personal growth, and these changes can trigger insecurity. By affirming that we are adaptable and capable, we reinforce our ability to face new experiences with courage. This confidence in our resilience enables us to approach change not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth. Affirming our adaptability reduces fear, helping us view each transition as a step towards self-discovery. This mindset empowers us to embrace life's shifts with grace, knowing that our worth remains constant through any transformation. Another benefit of self-affirmation is its ability to nurture gratitude. When we affirm our strengths, we become aware of the qualities, experiences, and opportunities that enrich our lives. This awareness fosters gratitude, helping us appreciate our journey with a sense of abundance. Gratitude enhances our emotional resilience, grounding us in a positive outlook that supports well-being. By acknowledging our blessings and strengths, we cultivate a mindset of fulfillment, reducing the desire for external validation. Self-affirmation and gratitude together create a balanced perspective, empowering us to find joy within ourselves. Self-affirmation also plays a crucial role in overcoming fear. Fear often arises from doubt, the belief that we are not enough or that we lack the resources to succeed. By affirming our abilities, we challenge these doubts, replacing fear with confidence. Affirmations like "I am capable of achieving my goals" reinforce belief in our potential, reducing the power of fear. This confidence motivates us to take action, pushing beyond comfort zones and embracing challenges. Self-affirmation transforms fear into courage, enabling us to pursue our aspirations with a steadfast sense of self-worth. Self-affirmation cultivates self-love, the foundation of all emotional resilience. Loving ourselves means accepting both strengths and imperfections, embracing the full spectrum of who we are. By affirming that we are worthy of love and respect, we nurture a deep, unconditional appreciation for ourselves. This self-love creates a stable core, helping us face life's ups and downs with a steady heart. With each affirmation, we strengthen our connection to our true selves, building a life that reflects our values and aspirations. Self-affirmation becomes not just a practice, but a way of living, guiding us toward a life filled with confidence, peace, and fulfillment. Building self-worth through self-affirmation lays a foundation of inner strength, but to deepen this resilience, we must also learn to navigate one of life's most challenging experiences: rejection. Rejection has a way of piercing through our defenses, sometimes making us question our value or direction. Yet, when we view rejection as an opportunity for growth, it transforms from a source of pain into a path of discovery, resilience, and self-improvement. Embracing rejection as a teacher shifts our focus from loss to potential, allowing us to strengthen our character, refine our goals, and build an unbreakable spirit that sees every setback as a stepping stone to something greater. Reframing rejection begins with recognizing that it is a universal experience, not a personal failure. Every person, regardless of their success, faces rejection at different points in life. This universality offers comfort, reminding us that rejection is not a reflection of inadequacy, but a part of the journey that everyone endures. Accepting this truth allows us to separate our self-worth from the rejection itself, making it easier to approach each experience with a balanced perspective. Instead of internalizing rejection as a measure of value, we can see it as a common human experience, one that builds resilience when we choose to learn from it. One way to grow from rejection is to view it as an opportunity for self-reflection. Rejection often prompts questions. Why didn't it work out? What can be improved? These questions can lead to profound insights about ourselves, revealing patterns, strengths, and areas for development. Instead of viewing rejection as a closed door, we can use it as a mirror to see aspects of ourselves that may need refinement. This process doesn't mean harsh self-criticism. It's about honest evaluation and growth. Self-reflection turns rejection into a catalyst, helping us make adjustments that align us closer to our goals and aspirations. Rejection also helps us build emotional resilience by challenging us to confront discomfort. Avoiding rejection can sometimes limit our growth, keeping us within the bounds of familiarity and safety. Facing rejection teaches us to embrace discomfort, strengthening our ability to handle adversity. Each time we experience rejection and choose to persevere, we reinforce our emotional resilience, learning that discomfort is temporary and that growth often lies beyond it. This resilience becomes a core strength, allowing us to approach future challenges with confidence and an unwavering belief in our ability to overcome setbacks. Reframing rejection as redirection opens us to the idea that what seems like a setback may actually be guiding us towards something better suited to our growth. Sometimes, rejection occurs not because we aren't enough, but because the situation or relationship isn't aligned with our true potential. When we trust that rejection can be a form of redirection, we remain open to new paths and possibilities that may have otherwise gone unexplored. This perspective empowers us to move forward with curiosity, understanding that life's course is not always linear, but filled with turns that lead us to unexpected growth. Rejection can also deepen our empathy and compassion for others. When we face rejection, we gain insight into the vulnerability and emotions that come with it. This understanding helps us relate to others who experience similar setbacks, fostering a sense of connection and empathy. By recognizing the shared human experience of rejection, we develop a compassionate approach toward others and ourselves. This compassion strengthens relationships as we support others through their rejections, and it fosters self-acceptance, reducing the harshness with which we may judge our own experiences. Embracing rejection as a lesson encourages us to focus on what we can control. Often, rejection arises from factors outside our influence, whether it's another person's decision, circumstances, or timing. By focusing on what we can control, our response, attitude, and actions, we reclaim our power, directing our energy toward personal development rather than dwelling on what we can't change. This shift empowers us to take proactive steps that support our growth, transforming rejection from a source of frustration into a driving force for positive change. This approach strengthens our resilience, reminding us that while we can't control every outcome, we can control how we respond to it. Another way to turn rejection into growth is by setting new goals. When a door closes, it can feel like a loss, but it also creates an opportunity to redirect our energy toward fresh ambitions. By setting new goals, we maintain forward momentum, using rejection as motivation to explore new interests or pursue areas we may have previously overlooked. This redirection of energy keeps us engaged with life, allowing us to evolve rather than feeling stuck. Setting goals after rejection fosters a mindset of adaptability, teaching us that each setback holds potential for renewal and discovery. Rejection also provides an opportunity to strengthen our sense of purpose. Sometimes, the sting of rejection makes us question our path, leading us to explore whether our goals truly align with our values. By reflecting on our purpose, we can clarify our intentions, ensuring that our efforts are directed toward meaningful pursuits. This process reinforces a sense of direction, helping us move forward with clarity. Embracing rejection as a chance to reaffirm our purpose transforms it from an obstacle into a stepping stone, grounding us in a vision that aligns with our core beliefs. Practicing gratitude for the lessons in rejection further strengthens our resilience. While it may seem challenging to feel grateful in the face of rejection, gratitude shifts our focus from what went wrong to what we gained. By recognizing the growth, insights, or redirection that rejection brings, we cultivate a positive outlook, making it easier to move forward with peace and acceptance. Gratitude fosters emotional balance, allowing us to approach setbacks with grace rather than resentment. This perspective nurtures inner strength, reminding us that each experience, even rejection, contributes to our journey in meaningful ways. Rejection can also serve as a reminder of our inherent resilience and adaptability. Each time we face rejection, we have the choice to rise above it, reaffirming our strength and ability to persevere. This resilience is a testament to our capacity to thrive, regardless of external setbacks. By viewing rejection as a test of resilience, we cultivate an unshakable belief in ourselves, knowing that no single event defines our potential. This approach empowers us to approach life's challenges with confidence, secure in the knowledge that resilience will carry us through any situation. Through rejection, we also learn the value of patience and timing. Sometimes rejection occurs because the timing isn't right, or because there are lessons to be learned before reaching our goals. This understanding helps us embrace patience, trusting that opportunities will come when the moment is right. By cultivating patience, we reduce the urgency that often accompanies setbacks, allowing ourselves to grow and evolve at a natural pace. This trust in timing alleviates the frustration of rejection, helping us see that each experience is part of a larger journey that unfolds in its own time. Viewing rejection as feedback rather than failure enables us to learn and adapt. Often, rejection reveals areas where we can improve or adjust our approach. By seeing it as constructive feedback, we gain insights that support our growth, helping us refine our skills, strategies, or perspectives. This shift in perspective encourages continuous improvement, transforming rejection into a valuable learning tool. Embracing rejection as feedback nurtures a growth mindset, empowering us to approach each experience as an opportunity to become better, wiser, and more capable. Rejection also helps us develop humility, reminding us that no path is without challenges. Humility enables us to accept rejection without letting it diminish our self-worth, acknowledging that setbacks are part of the journey. This humility fosters resilience, helping us remain grounded in the face of both success and failure. By embracing rejection with humility, we learn to approach life's ups and downs with balance, viewing each experience as a lesson that contributes to our growth. This mindset reinforces inner strength, allowing us to move forward with dignity and self-respect. Ultimately, viewing rejection as a path to growth transforms our relationship with life's challenges. By embracing rejection as a teacher, we cultivate resilience, humility, and adaptability, building a life that is enriched by each experience, no matter the outcome. Rejection becomes not a barrier, but a doorway, guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and our potential. Through this lens, every rejection is an opportunity to grow, evolve, and thrive, empowering us to pursue our goals with courage and an unbreakable spirit. As we embrace rejection as a powerful path for growth, we recognize the importance of nurturing a resilient, clear mind. But one of the biggest barriers to this clarity is the cycle of overthinking, where worries, doubts, and repetitive thoughts cloud our focus, erode our peace, and drain our energy. Breaking free from overthinking requires intentional strategies to clear mental clutter and realign with a state of calm and purpose. These practices, inspired by Stoic philosophy, guide us in transforming a busy mind into a grounded, focused one, helping us live with greater presence, resilience, and inner peace. A key principle in reducing overthinking is learning to focus on what we can control. Overthinking often arises when we dwell on uncertainties or outcomes that are beyond our influence. By concentrating on our actions and choices, we shift our energy toward what is achievable, freeing ourselves from the anxiety of uncontrollable outcomes. This focus brings clarity, allowing us to make decisions confidently without being entangled in the what-ifs and hypothetical scenarios that fuel overthinking. Letting go of the desire to control everything creates space for peace, as we find satisfaction in managing what's within our reach. Another effective practice for mental detox is setting aside time each day for mindfulness. Taking even a few minutes to center ourselves through deep breathing or guided meditation helps reset our mental state, allowing us to observe our thoughts without judgment. This practice cultivates awareness, making us more conscious of when our thoughts spiral into overthinking. Through mindfulness, we gain the ability to pause, recognize, and release repetitive thoughts, creating a habit of calm that carries into our daily lives. This practice empowers us to reclaim our mental space, reducing the impact of stress and enhancing our ability to focus. To further detox the mind, it's valuable to engage in single tasking. In a world that celebrates multitasking, the mind can become overloaded, increasing stress and fostering overthinking. By focusing on one task at a time, we allow our minds to engage fully, completing each activity with intention and clarity. Single tasking improves concentration, preventing the scattered energy that often leads to overthinking. By directing our full attention to each task, we cultivate a habit of mindfulness, simplifying our mental landscape and nurturing a sense of calm. This approach helps us experience life more fully, reducing the mental clutter that fuels worry. Practicing gratitude is another simple yet powerful strategy for clearing mental clutter. Overthinking frequently stems from focusing on what's lacking or what could go wrong. By shifting our focus to what we appreciate in the present, we redirect our thoughts from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude grounds us, reminding us of the positives that already exist in our lives, reducing the tendency to dwell on uncertainties. This shift in focus cultivates a sense of contentment, helping us approach challenges with a balanced perspective rather than anxiety. Gratitude becomes a tool for mental detox, allowing us to maintain clarity and peace. Setting clear boundaries around information intake is also essential for mental clarity. In an age of constant information flow, our minds can become overwhelmed by news, social media, and digital content. By limiting our exposure, we protect our mental space from unnecessary stress and distraction. Choosing when and how much information to consume allows us to focus on what truly matters, creating a sense of mental order. This boundary setting fosters a more peaceful mind as we become selective about the thoughts and content we allow in, prioritizing clarity over constant stimulation. Another strategy to stop overthinking is engaging in physical activity. Movement naturally shifts our focus from mental stress to the body, providing an outlet for releasing tension. Physical activity stimulates the production of endorphins, which improve mood and reduce stress, helping to break the cycle of overthinking. Whether through walking, yoga, or any form of exercise, physical movement rebalances the mind, bringing us back into the present and reducing mental clutter. This connection between body and mind helps create a more centered, peaceful state, supporting mental clarity and resilience. Practicing acceptance is a profound Stoic technique for reducing overthinking. Often, mental clutter arises from resisting situations that we wish were different. By practicing acceptance, we acknowledge reality as it is, releasing the struggle against what we cannot change. This doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it's about facing life's events without being consumed by what-ifs or regrets. Acceptance creates mental space, allowing us to focus on constructive actions instead of dwelling on what's beyond our control. This approach nurtures resilience, enabling us to face life's challenges with a calm and centered mind. Another method for clearing mental clutter is creating a daily reflection ritual. Taking time at the end of each day to reflect on our experiences, accomplishments, and even setbacks helps process lingering thoughts. Writing down reflections in a journal allows us to release repetitive worries, creating a sense of closure. This practice enables us to learn from each day without carrying unresolved thoughts into the next. By processing our experiences regularly, we reduce the buildup of mental clutter, fostering a more peaceful and organized mind. Daily reflection offers clarity, helping us approach each new day with a fresh perspective. Developing a practice of intentional disengagement also helps in managing overthinking. Taking short breaks throughout the day to step away from screens, tasks, or intense focus allows the mind to rest. This disengagement is not about avoiding responsibilities, but about giving the mind space to reset. A brief walk, a few moments of deep breathing, or even standing up to stretch can work wonders for clearing the mind. This intentional pause breaks the momentum of overthinking, bringing the mind back to a state of calm focus. These mini breaks refresh our perspective, reducing stress and enhancing mental clarity. Focusing on purposeful action is a Stoic principle that helps counteract overthinking by emphasizing what we can do in the present moment. When we feel overwhelmed by thoughts, engaging in purposeful, meaningful actions grounds us. Taking a small step toward a goal, finishing a task, or simply organizing our space channels mental energy into constructive activities. This shift from thought to action reduces the space for overthinking, helping us feel productive and empowered. Purposeful action creates momentum, guiding us towards solutions rather than dwelling on problems, and reinforcing a sense of control and balance in our lives. Practicing detachment from outcomes is an invaluable approach to stop overthinking. Much of our mental clutter comes from attaching our happiness to specific results, creating pressure and anxiety. By focusing on doing our best while letting go of the need for a particular outcome, we free ourselves from the mental burden of constant analysis. Detachment fosters a sense of peace as we come to trust that we can handle whatever comes our way. This acceptance reduces the fear of failure, replacing it with the calm assurance that each step, regardless of outcome, contributes to our growth. By integrating these practices into daily life, we nurture a state of mental clarity that is resilient, grounded, and free from the chains of overthinking. Each strategy serves as a tool for maintaining a clear and focused mind, allowing us to engage with life from a place of calm presence and inner strength. Through this intentional approach, we create a mental environment that supports well-being, resilience, and true peace, transforming how we experience each moment. As we free ourselves from the grip of overthinking, a clear path emerges toward purpose and focus. Stoic philosophy offers practical rules that help us harness this clarity to make the most of our time, guiding us toward a life where every action is aligned with our goals. These principles don't just teach us to achieve more, they show us how to focus on what truly matters, making intentional choices that honor our potential. By embracing these Stoic practices, we can cut through distractions, cultivate discipline, and invest our energy in ways that propel us forward, ensuring we no longer waste time, but live with purpose. A foundational rule for focusing on our goals is to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. So much time is wasted worrying about factors beyond our influence, other people's opinions, unexpected challenges, or uncertain outcomes. By concentrating on what we can control, such as our efforts, attitudes, and decisions, we free ourselves from the paralysis of worry and direct our energy where it can truly make a difference. This focus clarifies our path, allowing us to approach each goal with an empowered mindset, confident in our ability to navigate obstacles that arise. Embracing simplicity is another powerful Stoic principle for staying focused. Complexity often brings distraction and drains mental energy, diverting us from what's essential. By simplifying our routines, commitments, and even thoughts, we reduce the noise that prevents us from making meaningful progress. This doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but rather choosing clarity over clutter, creating space for intentional action. Simplicity encourages us to define what truly matters in our lives, helping us align each day with our larger vision. By focusing on fewer, impactful pursuits, we achieve a depth of purpose that drives consistent progress. Another Stoic rule is to take responsibility for each moment, understanding that time is a finite resource. Procrastination and idle distractions can erode our potential, but by viewing each moment as an opportunity for growth, we develop a habit of presence and purpose. This perspective reminds us that every action, however small, contributes to our path. Taking responsibility for our time instills a sense of urgency, not out of anxiety, but out of respect for our potential. This commitment to purposeful action helps us honor our goals, transforming our relationship with time from passive to intentional. Setting clear, intentional goals is central to maintaining focus. Without a clear vision, our actions can become scattered, lacking direction. By defining specific, achievable goals, we create a roadmap that guides our daily efforts. These goals serve as markers of progress, reminding us of our purpose and keeping distractions at bay. Clear goals help us prioritize, allowing us to say no to activities that don't align with our vision. This focus creates momentum as each step forward reinforces our commitment. Clarity of purpose anchors us, helping us stay grounded in our aspirations. The Stoics teach us to approach each task with full presence, cultivating a mindset of mindfulness in action. When we divide our attention or allow distractions to creep in, we dilute our effectiveness. By giving our full focus to the task at hand, we not only improve our performance, but also deepen our engagement with each moment. This commitment to single-mindedness enhances productivity and reduces wasted time, as we immerse ourselves in what we're doing rather than rushing through it. Full presence in action builds consistency, helping us approach each task as an essential step toward our greater vision. Self-discipline is another crucial Stoic principle for staying focused on our goals. Discipline isn't about restricting ourselves, but about creating a framework that supports progress. By cultivating discipline in our routines, habits, and choices, we develop resilience, enabling us to overcome temptation or distraction. This discipline fosters a sense of autonomy, empowering us to act based on our values rather than fleeting desires. Each act of self-discipline reinforces our commitment, building a foundation that keeps us grounded in our goals. Through discipline, we transform potential into progress, aligning our actions with our intentions. Learning to embrace challenges with a growth mindset is another Stoic rule for avoiding wasted time. Challenges are inevitable, but by viewing them as opportunities for growth, we transform obstacles into stepping stones. This mindset helps us approach setbacks with resilience, using each challenge as a chance to refine our skills, expand our knowledge, and strengthen our resolve. By embracing challenges, we stay engaged with our goals, avoiding the stagnation that often accompanies avoidance or fear. Growth-oriented thinking keeps us moving forward, helping us stay focused on long-term achievements rather than short-term comfort. Stoic philosophy also emphasizes the importance of gratitude in maintaining focus. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, grounding us in a sense of fulfillment. This perspective reduces the urge for constant acquisition or comparison, which often leads to wasted time and energy. By appreciating our current progress and resources, we cultivate a sense of contentment that fuels sustainable motivation. Gratitude creates mental clarity, helping us focus on the opportunities before us rather than being distracted by what we don't have. This grounding in appreciation keeps our actions aligned with our goals, reducing the pull of distractions. Accepting impermanence is another valuable Stoic principle for managing time wisely. The Stoics remind us that everything, including our opportunities, is temporary. Embracing this truth helps us appreciate each moment, encouraging us to make the most of our time. By accepting impermanence, we cultivate a sense of urgency that drives focused action, helping us approach our goals with intentionality. This acceptance reduces hesitation, reminding us that time waits for no one. Embracing impermanence frees us from complacency, motivating us to act with purpose and clarity, fully engaged in our journey toward our aspirations. Practicing detachment from outcomes is essential for maintaining a focused mind. When we become overly attached to results, we risk being consumed by anxiety, which can lead to distraction and overthinking. By focusing on our efforts rather than obsessing over outcomes, we find peace in the process, freeing ourselves from unnecessary stress. This detachment empowers us to pursue goals with clarity, knowing that our value is not defined by success or failure. Focusing on the journey rather than the destination creates a balanced mindset, allowing us to engage fully in each step without being weighed down by the fear of unmet expectations. Integrating these Stoic rules into our daily lives fosters a disciplined, purpose-driven approach to time, allowing us to achieve our goals without the burden of distraction or procrastination. Each principle serves as a tool for aligning actions with intentions, helping us move forward with clarity, resilience, and unshakable focus. By embracing these practices, we cultivate a life that respects the finite nature of time, transforming each moment into an opportunity for growth and fulfillment. With a life focused on meaningful goals and a clear sense of purpose, we find ourselves closer to the path of happiness. But true happiness goes beyond achieving goals. It's rooted in how we perceive and interact with life itself. Stoic philosophy offers profound insights into living happily, guiding us to cultivate a mindset of resilience, gratitude, and inner peace. These principles don't just show us how to find happiness, but how to sustain it, helping us build a life that is rich with contentment, fulfillment, and purpose. One essential truth for living happily is understanding that happiness isn't found in external circumstances, but in our inner response to life. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control events, we can control how we interpret them. This shift empowers us to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. When we anchor happiness within ourselves, we are less affected by the ups and downs of life. This internal focus on happiness makes us resilient, allowing us to find peace even amid difficulty. Embracing the present moment is another powerful Stoic insight for happiness. The mind often drifts between past regrets and future worries, which fuels dissatisfaction. By practicing presence, we experience life as it unfolds, finding joy in the here and now. This commitment to the present brings clarity, reminding us that happiness is not something to chase, but something to experience. Engaging fully in each moment allows us to appreciate life's simple pleasures, grounding us in a sense of peace and gratitude that transcends external situations. Accepting impermanence is also key to happiness. The Stoics remind us that all things, from moments to relationships, are temporary. This acceptance allows us to cherish what we have without becoming overly attached. Instead of fearing loss, we approach life with appreciation, recognizing the value of each experience while understanding that it is not ours to keep. Embracing impermanence frees us from the fear of change, allowing us to enjoy life's fleeting beauty with a light heart. This acceptance creates a mindset of gratitude, helping us focus on what we have rather than on what we might lose. Gratitude itself is a central component of happiness. The Stoics encourage us to cultivate gratitude for what we have, fostering contentment that shields us from envy or dissatisfaction. By regularly reflecting on our blessings, we shift our focus from lack to abundance. Gratitude enriches our experience, reminding us that happiness is found not in acquiring more, but in appreciating what is already present. This perspective deepens our sense of fulfillment, allowing us to approach life with an open heart, ready to find joy in each moment. Another principle for living happily is to focus on inner values rather than external achievements. Society often equates happiness with success, status, or possessions, but these pursuits can lead to a sense of emptiness. The Stoics teach us to ground happiness in virtues such as integrity, kindness, and wisdom, qualities that bring lasting fulfillment. When we live in alignment with our values, we create a life that is meaningful, one that reflects our truest selves. This alignment provides a sense of satisfaction that external achievements alone cannot offer, guiding us toward a happiness rooted in authenticity. Letting go of the need for approval is also essential for happiness. Many people base their sense of self-worth on others' opinions, which creates vulnerability to criticism and judgment. By focusing on our own values and self-respect, we liberate ourselves from the need for constant validation. This independence fosters happiness as we learn to appreciate our own worth without relying on others. Living free from the weight of others' expectations brings peace, helping us create a life that is true to our own principles rather than molded by external pressures. Embracing simplicity is another path to happiness. Complexity often leads to stress, cluttering our minds and draining our energy. By simplifying our lives, focusing on what truly matters, we create space for joy. This simplicity doesn't mean giving up on dreams, but choosing quality over quantity, pursuing depth over excess. A simple life brings freedom, helping us find satisfaction in the essentials. This focus on simplicity nurtures a sense of calm, allowing us to savor life without the distractions that can pull us away from happiness. Practicing acceptance, particularly of our own imperfections, is vital for happiness. The Stoics emphasize the importance of self-acceptance, understanding that flaws and mistakes are part of the human experience. By embracing our imperfections with compassion, we reduce self-criticism, fostering a mindset of growth. This acceptance builds resilience, allowing us to approach challenges without the fear of failure. Embracing ourselves fully creates a foundation of happiness, where self-worth is not tied to perfection, but to our willingness to learn and grow. Recognizing the power of choice is also key to a happy life. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control all events, we can control our responses. This understanding empowers us to choose reactions that support our well-being, helping us stay grounded in peace rather than in anger or frustration. By embracing choice, we reclaim our power, shaping a life that reflects our values. This agency brings fulfillment, as we realize that happiness is often a matter of perspective, one that is within our control. Investing in meaningful relationships is another Stoic insight for happiness. Relationships that are based on mutual respect, trust, and shared values enrich our lives, providing support and joy. By nurturing these connections, we build a community that uplifts us, creating a network of encouragement. Meaningful relationships bring happiness not because of what we receive, but because of the sense of connection and belonging they foster. These relationships remind us that happiness is often shared, found in moments of unity, understanding, and compassion. The practice of detachment from material possessions also enhances happiness. The Stoics encourage us to view possessions as temporary, understanding that they do not define our worth. By detaching from the need to accumulate, we find freedom from the pursuit of more, which often leads to dissatisfaction. This detachment brings contentment as we focus on experiences and values over belongings. Living without attachment to material things creates space for deeper happiness, one that is rooted in personal growth and relationships rather than in possessions. Finding purpose in serving others is a profound way to cultivate happiness. The Stoics teach that contributing to the well-being of others brings fulfillment that self-centered pursuits cannot. By focusing on how we can make a positive impact, we create a sense of purpose that enriches our lives. Serving others builds empathy, strengthens connections, and provides a lasting sense of accomplishment. This outward focus brings a joy that goes beyond personal gain, helping us find happiness in the difference we make in the world. Living with gratitude for each day enhances happiness. Life is fleeting, and the Stoics remind us to appreciate each moment as a gift. By approaching each day with gratitude, we find happiness in simply being alive, savoring the experiences, relationships, and growth that life offers. This gratitude fosters a mindset of abundance, where happiness is not something to chase, but a state to embrace. By valuing each day, we create a life filled with purpose, appreciation, and joy. Embracing these Stoic principles builds a life where happiness is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in our perspective and choices. Each insight offers a pathway to deeper contentment, helping us live fully with gratitude, peace, and resilience. Through these practices, we cultivate a lasting sense of happiness that enriches both our own lives and those of the people around us. Living with gratitude and appreciation allows us to see the natural flow of life, and from this perspective, we understand a core principle of Stoicism: the wisdom of not forcing anything. There is power in allowing things to unfold, in recognizing that certain outcomes, relationships, and situations simply cannot be controlled. This acceptance doesn't mean passive inaction. Rather, it's about honoring the natural rhythms of life, letting go of rigid expectations, and allowing space for what is meant to flourish. When we stop forcing, we find a balance between effort and acceptance, creating a life grounded in patience, trust, and inner peace. One of the first steps in releasing the need to force things is understanding that true control is limited. We often expend energy trying to manipulate outcomes or situations that are ultimately beyond our influence, from others' decisions to external events. Stoic wisdom teaches us that the more we try to force control, the more we suffer from disappointment and frustration. Instead, by focusing only on what we can genuinely influence, our actions, attitudes, and reactions, we find peace and purpose. This approach lets us engage with life fully without becoming trapped in the illusion of total control. Patience becomes a valuable tool when we stop forcing outcomes. By accepting that some things take time, we release the anxiety that comes from rushing or pressing for immediate results. Patience allows us to move through life with a sense of calm, trusting that our efforts, when aligned with our values, will bear fruit in their own time. When we practice patience, we create space for natural growth and development, avoiding the stress that comes from wanting things to happen on our own timetable. This patience fosters resilience, teaching us that things of value often require time and allowing us to approach each day with a steady, balanced mindset. Letting go of the need to force things also cultivates openness to change. Often, when we try to control every outcome, we become rigid, resistant to new possibilities or directions. However, life is full of unexpected turns, and by embracing flexibility, we allow ourselves to adapt and grow. This openness to change keeps us from feeling stuck, as we are willing to adjust our approach when needed. With flexibility, we are better equipped to navigate life's transitions, finding peace in the flow rather than in resistance. This adaptability becomes a source of strength, freeing us from the limitations of rigid expectations. Trusting in life's natural process is essential to letting go of force. When we stop forcing, we cultivate a sense of faith in life's unfolding, understanding that not every answer or solution needs to come immediately. Trusting the process allows us to focus on what we can do in the present moment without becoming overwhelmed by uncertainty. This trust does not mean abandoning goals, but rather pursuing them with a spirit of calm confidence. By letting go of force and embracing trust, we open ourselves to new perspectives and opportunities that might have been missed in the pursuit of rigid outcomes. Embracing self-compassion is another key to letting go of force. Often, the urge to control is fueled by an inner fear of failure or a desire for validation. By practicing self-compassion, we become gentler with ourselves, understanding that perfection is neither necessary nor achievable. Self-compassion allows us to accept setbacks or delays without feeling defeated, fostering a mindset of growth rather than pressure. This kindness toward ourselves reduces the need to force success, replacing it with a more balanced pursuit of personal progress. Self-compassion nurtures inner peace, helping us approach life with acceptance rather than stress. A natural result of not forcing things is reduced stress. When we push against the flow, we create mental and emotional tension, straining ourselves in pursuit of control. By stepping back and allowing life to unfold, we release this tension, creating a calmer state of mind. This reduction in stress enables us to think more clearly, make better decisions, and maintain emotional balance. By embracing ease over force, we foster a sense of inner peace, allowing us to approach each situation with clarity and patience. This calm approach enhances our well-being, helping us enjoy life without unnecessary strain. Acceptance of uncertainty is also fundamental to releasing the need for force. Life is inherently unpredictable, and no amount of planning or effort can eliminate all uncertainties. By accepting this reality, we find freedom from the constant need to anticipate or control every detail. Embracing uncertainty allows us to focus on the present, finding joy and fulfillment in what is happening now rather than in an imagined future. This acceptance of the unknown creates a sense of peace, helping us move forward with confidence and flexibility. Living without the burden of needing to know every outcome empowers us to enjoy life fully, trusting that we can handle whatever comes our way. A life without force also fosters gratitude for what is, as we stop focusing solely on desired outcomes and begin to appreciate the present. Often, the need to control blinds us to the beauty of what we already have. By releasing the urge to force, we create space for gratitude, noticing the moments, relationships, and experiences that enrich our lives. This shift to gratitude reduces dissatisfaction, helping us see that happiness is not found in future achievements, but in appreciating the here and now. Gratitude grounds us, reminding us that there is fulfillment in each moment, regardless of outcomes. Another valuable outcome of not forcing things is the deepening of relationships. When we let go of trying to control how others respond or act, we create space for genuine connection. Instead of imposing our expectations, we allow people to show up as they are, fostering authenticity and mutual respect. This approach reduces conflict, as we are no longer invested in trying to change others. By accepting people as they are, we build stronger, more compassionate connections, enhancing the quality of our relationships and creating a supportive, accepting environment. Not forcing also teaches us to respect life's natural rhythms. Just as seasons change, each aspect of life has its own timing, and by aligning with these rhythms, we find a greater sense of harmony. This respect for natural timing means understanding when to act and when to wait, balancing effort with rest. Respecting these rhythms prevents burnout and preserves our energy, helping us approach each task or goal with renewed focus. Living in alignment with life's rhythms brings peace, as we learn to honor each phase rather than forcing results. This respect for timing keeps us grounded, helping us engage with life fully and calmly. Letting go of force also cultivates a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Often, the need to control stems from a fear of lack of time, opportunities, or success. By trusting that there is enough, we move from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, understanding that life provides opportunities in due time. This mindset reduces the urgency and pressure that often drive us to force situations. By embracing abundance, we approach life with ease, focusing on growth rather than competition. This abundant mindset fosters generosity, allowing us to support others without fear of losing out, creating a life rooted in peace and fulfillment. In embracing a life free of force, we also strengthen our intuition. When we're not fixated on forcing outcomes, we become more in tune with our instincts, guiding us toward decisions that align with our true selves. This intuition acts as an inner compass, helping us make choices that reflect our values and intentions. Listening to intuition fosters self-trust, empowering us to navigate life's choices with confidence. By honoring our inner guidance, we build a life that resonates with our core beliefs, creating harmony between our actions and values. Ultimately, Not forcing anything in life allows us to experience a deep sense of freedom. This freedom is not about detachment from goals, but about releasing the mental and emotional weight of trying to control every aspect of our lives. By living with openness and acceptance, we cultivate a life where peace, trust, and fulfillment are not contingent on outcomes. This approach frees us from the fear of failure or judgment, allowing us to embrace life's unfolding with a calm heart. Living without force teaches us that true happiness is not found in controlling life, but in flowing with it, experiencing each moment as it comes. Embracing life's natural flow frees us from the need to control every outcome, creating room for powerful, transformative lessons that can reshape our lives in a remarkably short time. Stoicism offers practical insights that, when applied daily, begin to shift our perspectives, reduce stress, and strengthen our sense of inner peace. In just 7 days, implementing Stoic principles can change the way we view challenges, handle emotions, and interact with others. These lessons, grounded in simplicity and wisdom, teach us not only to manage life's difficulties with grace, but to cultivate a mindset of resilience and purpose. The first lesson is to start each day with clarity of purpose. The Stoics understood that intention brings focus, and that each day is an opportunity to align our actions with our values. By beginning the day with a quiet reflection on what matters most, we anchor ourselves in purpose. This practice allows us to prioritize meaningful actions over distractions, helping us navigate the day with a clear mind. Starting each day with purpose reduces anxiety, as we're reminded of what's within our control and what is not, fostering a sense of calm confidence. Another transformative Stoic principle is to embrace discomfort as a tool for growth. Rather than avoiding difficult situations or emotions, the Stoics teach us to face them with courage, seeing them as opportunities to strengthen our resilience. By willingly stepping into discomfort, whether through small daily challenges or handling difficult conversations, we build emotional endurance. This practice reduces our fear of hardship, helping us approach challenges with a steady heart. Embracing discomfort rewires our response to stress, making us stronger and more adaptable as we learn to find strength even in uncertainty. Gratitude for what we have is a foundational Stoic lesson that can profoundly impact happiness. The Stoics believed that focusing on what is already present in our lives, rather than constantly seeking more, brings contentment. By practicing gratitude, we shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance, reducing envy and dissatisfaction. This appreciation for the present moment helps us find peace, as we're no longer driven by a desire for external fulfillment. Daily gratitude transforms our outlook, teaching us that happiness is found not in acquiring more, but in valuing what we already possess. Learning to let go of attachment to specific outcomes is another valuable lesson. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our efforts rather than obsessing over results, as outcomes are often beyond our control. By detaching from specific expectations, we release the stress and frustration that arise when things don't go as planned. This approach allows us to enjoy the process of growth and learning without being consumed by fear of failure. Letting go of rigid outcomes nurtures inner peace, as we find fulfillment in our actions rather than in a need for validation or success. Practicing self-reflection is a Stoic habit that brings clarity and insight. Taking a few moments at the end of each day to review our actions, thoughts, and emotions helps us learn from our experiences. This reflection builds self-awareness, allowing us to identify patterns, strengths, and areas for improvement. By observing our behavior without judgment, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, fostering growth and accountability. Self-reflection is a tool for self-mastery, helping us make conscious choices that align with our values, leading to a more purposeful and balanced life. Mindfulness of language and thoughts is another powerful Stoic lesson. The Stoics recognized that our words and internal dialogue shape our perception of reality. By being mindful of how we speak to ourselves and others, we create a mental environment that supports resilience and positivity. Choosing words that are constructive rather than critical helps reduce stress, fostering a mindset of patience and understanding. Mindful language also improves our relationships, as it encourages communication rooted in respect and empathy. This awareness transforms our inner dialogue, creating a foundation of peace and self-compassion. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate equanimity or calmness in the face of adversity. Life is filled with ups and downs, and by practicing emotional stability, we learn to handle each situation with grace. Equanimity doesn't mean ignoring emotions. Rather, it's about maintaining a balanced response regardless of circumstances. This calmness allows us to navigate challenges without being overwhelmed, fostering resilience and mental clarity. Developing equanimity brings a sense of inner strength as we learn to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, creating a life of steadiness and focus. A key lesson in Stoicism is accepting personal responsibility for our actions. By acknowledging that we have the power to shape our responses, we cultivate a mindset of accountability. This responsibility teaches us that we are not passive recipients of life's circumstances, but active participants in creating our experiences. By taking ownership of our choices, we reduce blame and resentment, empowering ourselves to make positive changes. This sense of agency brings fulfillment as we recognize our ability to influence our lives through conscious, value-driven decisions. Practicing kindness and compassion is a Stoic value that enhances our relationships and sense of connection. By choosing to treat others with empathy, even when it's challenging, we build trust and mutual respect. Compassion reduces conflict as it encourages understanding rather than judgment. This kindness isn't only for others, it's a practice of self-compassion as well, helping us forgive our own imperfections. Kindness fosters emotional resilience as we learn to navigate interactions with patience and generosity, strengthening our bonds and creating a supportive community. The Stoics also teach us the importance of focusing on what truly matters. With life's many distractions, it's easy to lose sight of our values and priorities. By regularly assessing what is essential, we bring greater purpose to our actions. This focus allows us to say no to trivial pursuits, freeing up time and energy for meaningful goals. Honoring what matters most keeps us aligned with our aspirations, reducing the mental clutter that often leads to stress or dissatisfaction. This clarity of purpose enhances our sense of fulfillment as we are guided by intention rather than impulse. Learning to forgive and release resentment is another Stoic practice that brings inner peace. Holding on to grudges creates mental and emotional tension, but forgiveness allows us to move forward unburdened. This release doesn't condone wrongdoing. It's about freeing ourselves from the weight of past hurts. Forgiveness fosters a sense of freedom as we let go of negative emotions that drain our energy. By releasing resentment, we create space for positive experiences and relationships, allowing us to approach life with an open heart and a peaceful mind. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate humility, recognizing that there is always more to learn. This humility opens us to growth as we become willing to receive feedback and explore new perspectives. By acknowledging our limitations, we develop resilience as we no longer feel the need to prove ourselves constantly. Humility fosters curiosity, helping us approach each experience as an opportunity for learning rather than judgment. This openness to growth keeps us grounded reminding us that wisdom is a journey rather than a destination. Embracing a mindset of continuous improvement is essential for lasting transformation. The Stoics believed in the pursuit of self-betterment, understanding that growth is a lifelong journey. By setting small, achievable goals, we create momentum that leads to meaningful progress. This commitment to improvement keeps us engaged, preventing stagnation and nurturing a sense of purpose. Continuous growth fosters resilience as we learn to adapt and evolve with each experience. This dedication to self-improvement enhances our lives, allowing us to move forward with confidence, clarity, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. In just 7 days, these Stoic lessons can begin to transform our lives, creating a foundation of peace, resilience, and purpose. Each principle offers a practical way to approach challenges, cultivate inner strength, and build meaningful connections. By integrating these practices into our daily lives, we create a lasting shift in how we perceive and interact with the world, paving the way for a life of depth, balance, and happiness. Understanding the importance of inner resilience and emotional self-management is crucial, especially when faced with the difficult experience of someone pulling away or ignoring us. This situation can feel unsettling, even painful, stirring up self-doubt and questions. However, how we respond to such distancing reveals a lot about our inner strength and emotional maturity. Stoic philosophy offers profound wisdom in navigating these moments, teaching us to approach such situations with grace, patience, and self-respect. By focusing on our reactions and choices, we regain control, creating a path forward that respects both ourselves and the other person involved. The first essential approach is to avoid immediate reaction. When someone pulls away, the instinct might be to seek answers or to confront them directly. However, taking a moment to pause allows us to approach the situation with clarity rather than emotion. This pause gives space to reflect on what may be happening, considering that the other person might be dealing with their own challenges or emotions. By not reacting impulsively, we demonstrate emotional maturity, showing that we can handle ambiguity without allowing it to disturb our peace. Another vital lesson is to resist the urge to personalize their actions. When people pull away, it's easy to feel that it's a reflection of our worth or something we did wrong. However, Stoicism teaches us that we are not responsible for others' emotions or choices. By recognizing that everyone carries their own struggles and perspectives, we create emotional distance that protects our self-esteem. This perspective empowers us to view the situation objectively, reducing the tendency to overthink or internalize blame. This shift in mindset is crucial, as it enables us to stay grounded and confident even in uncertain times. Maintaining a focus on self-respect is also key. When someone ignores us, it can be tempting to reach out repeatedly, hoping to receive acknowledgement or validation. However, this approach can erode our sense of dignity. Instead, honoring our own self-worth means stepping back and allowing the other person space. This choice to respect ourselves prevents us from appearing overly dependent, showing that we value our own company and peace. Demonstrating self-respect often encourages others to do the same, fostering a healthier dynamic in relationships. By focusing on our worth, we reinforce the belief that we deserve connections based on mutual respect. Practicing patience during these moments of distancing is another powerful Stoic principle. Relationships, like all aspects of life, have their natural rhythms, and sometimes people need time to process their own emotions or challenges. By giving them this space without pressuring for immediate resolution, we show understanding and empathy. Patience is not passive. It's an active choice to honor both our needs and theirs. This approach reduces the stress of waiting for answers, as we trust that clarity will come in time. Patience builds resilience, teaching us to navigate the unknown with calm and composure. Focusing on our own growth is another constructive response when faced with someone pulling away. Instead of fixating on their absence, channeling energy into personal goals, hobbies, or self-improvement creates a positive outlet for our emotions. This shift in focus prevents us from becoming consumed by the situation, allowing us to continue growing and thriving. Engaging in activities that bring joy or fulfillment strengthens our sense of independence, reminding us that we are whole and complete on our own. This growth-oriented perspective transforms a potentially painful experience into an opportunity for self-discovery. Cultivating emotional resilience is essential when dealing with being ignored or distanced. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control others' actions, we can control our response to them. Developing emotional resilience means building an inner strength that isn't easily shaken by external events. This resilience helps us navigate the discomfort of uncertainty, knowing that our happiness doesn't rely on the approval or presence of others. Emotional resilience creates a sense of inner security, freeing us from the emotional highs and lows that can accompany relationships. By strengthening this resilience, we become better equipped to handle any situation with poise. Practicing gratitude for what remains in our lives can also bring comfort during times of distancing. When someone pulls away, the mind may focus on the absence, creating a sense of loss. By shifting our focus to what we still have, supportive friends, fulfilling activities, personal strengths, we cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than lack. Gratitude reminds us that while one relationship may be uncertain, many other aspects of our lives bring joy and fulfillment. This focus on appreciation shifts our energy toward positivity, reducing the emotional weight of being ignored or distanced. Setting healthy boundaries is another important response when someone pulls away. Sometimes distancing may indicate a lack of respect or consideration from the other person, and it's essential to recognize when it's necessary to protect our own well-being. By establishing boundaries around how we engage with them, we assert our needs without compromising self-respect. These boundaries create a space where we can maintain our peace, regardless of their actions. This approach teaches others how to treat us and reinforces the belief that we deserve relationships built on mutual respect and kindness. Acceptance is another vital lesson in handling distancing gracefully. Accepting the situation as it is, without forcing clarity or closure, allows us to move forward without lingering frustration. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up on the relationship. Rather, it's about releasing the need for control over the outcome. This mindset reduces emotional resistance, helping us face reality with openness and calm. Acceptance fosters peace, as we understand that some things are beyond our influence and that not every relationship will unfold exactly as we wish. This inner acceptance allows us to live with greater harmony and balance. Focusing on self-love and self-care becomes essential when someone pulls away. Distancing can trigger feelings of self-doubt, but by nurturing our own well-being, we reinforce our self-worth. Engaging in practices that promote physical and mental health, whether through exercise, meditation, or creative pursuits, rebuilds our confidence. Self-care reminds us that our happiness is not dependent on others, but is something we can cultivate within ourselves. This dedication to self-love strengthens our resilience, empowering us to face any relationship dynamic with a full heart. Practicing compassion, both for ourselves and the other person, can also bring healing during times of distancing. Recognizing that everyone experiences struggles, uncertainties, and fears helps us approach the situation with empathy rather than judgment. Compassion softens the emotional impact, helping us see that the other person's actions may not be personal, but a reflection of their own journey. By extending understanding, we release bitterness or resentment, creating space for emotional peace. This compassion fosters inner harmony as we recognize the shared human experience of challenges and growth. Remaining open to possibilities without attachment is another valuable response. When someone pulls away, it's natural to wonder if they will return or if the relationship will shift. However, attaching our happiness to these possibilities can create dependency. By staying open to whatever unfolds, we allow life to bring its own answers in time. This openness brings freedom, as we no longer feel confined by specific outcomes. By trusting that life will reveal what is meant to be, we reduce the anxiety of waiting, embracing each day with acceptance and peace. Remembering our inherent worth serves as a powerful foundation during any period of uncertainty. When someone pulls away or ignores us, it's easy to question our value. But Stoicism reminds us that worth is intrinsic. It isn't defined by others' actions. Embracing this truth strengthens our confidence, allowing us to approach every relationship from a place of self-assurance. Our worth remains intact regardless of others' choices, and this understanding brings a profound sense of peace and independence. By remembering our value, we empower ourselves to navigate any relationship dynamic with strength, dignity, and grace. By incorporating these principles, we create a response to distancing that is rooted in self-respect, resilience, and inner peace. Each lesson guides us toward a more balanced perspective, allowing us to handle any relationship challenge with calm and wisdom. In the end, these approaches empower us to remain centered, nurturing a sense of fulfillment that is independent of others' actions, cultivating a life filled with self-worth, resilience, and unshakable peace. Starting each day with intention and purpose creates a foundation for a life of resilience, inner peace, and fulfillment. Mornings hold a unique power. They set the tone, shape our thoughts, and influence our actions for the day ahead. By incorporating Stoic habits into our morning routine, we not only ground ourselves in clarity, but also cultivate an approach to life that's rooted in wisdom, self-discipline, and strength. These habits are more than routines. They're principles that transform the way we interact with the world, helping us to face challenges calmly, make decisions confidently, and nurture a steady state of inner contentment. The first Stoic habit to adopt each morning is a moment of self-reflection on our intentions. As we start the day, reflecting on our purpose and the values we aim to uphold brings focus to our actions. This reflection allows us to align our goals with our principles, encouraging choices that honor our integrity. Intentionality in the morning helps us to navigate the day with a clear vision, preventing distractions from steering us off course. When we know why we're taking each action, we become more resilient against external pressures, making decisions that resonate with our true selves. Another powerful morning habit is practicing gratitude. By acknowledging what we are thankful for each morning, we shift our mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. This gratitude cultivates an outlook of contentment, reducing the tendency to focus on what's missing or what could go wrong. Practicing gratitude grounds us, reminding us of the blessings already present in our lives. This shift in perspective fosters inner peace, creating a sense of fulfillment that carries us through the day's challenges. Gratitude in the morning becomes a steady anchor, reminding us that happiness is often found in appreciating what we already have. Embracing a moment of stillness is another essential Stoic habit to incorporate into our mornings. Whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply sitting quietly, stillness provides space for clarity. This calm reflection allows us to observe our thoughts without being swept away by them, building mental resilience. The practice of stillness reduces stress and brings a sense of calm, helping us approach the day with a balanced mind. By starting the day with calm awareness, we equip ourselves to handle unexpected situations with grace, fostering an inner stability that isn't easily disrupted. Practicing self-discipline through a set morning routine is also transformative. A disciplined routine, whether it's through exercise, reading, or journaling, creates a structure that supports growth and resilience. This discipline strengthens our commitment to our values, reinforcing the belief that we can shape our day by choosing habits that empower us. Morning discipline builds a strong foundation for the day, giving us the energy and focus needed to tackle tasks effectively. By practicing self-discipline each morning, we build confidence in our ability to follow through on our intentions, nurturing a mindset of consistency and strength. Setting a positive internal dialogue is another Stoic habit that can transform our mornings. How we speak to ourselves in the morning sets the emotional tone for the day. By choosing kind, encouraging, and constructive words, we nurture a mindset of self-compassion and resilience. Positive self-talk reduces self-doubt, empowering us to approach challenges with confidence. This inner dialogue shapes our perspective, helping us view setbacks as learning experiences rather than failures. Building a habit of positive self-talk each morning strengthens our resilience, helping us face the day with an open mind and a full heart. Contemplating the impermanence of life, or memento mori, is a profound Stoic practice that reminds us of life's fleeting nature. This morning reflection isn't about morbidity, but about inspiring us to live fully and purposefully. By acknowledging the transient nature of life, we are encouraged to cherish each day, approaching our actions with a sense of urgency and presence. This perspective fosters appreciation for each moment, motivating us to make meaningful choices. Embracing impermanence brings a sense of liberation, helping us prioritize what truly matters while reducing attachment to trivial concerns. Another essential morning habit is to consider what is within our control and what is not. This Stoic principle encourages us to focus our energy on areas where we can make a difference, letting go of concerns beyond our influence. By setting this intention each morning, we conserve mental energy, preventing unnecessary worry or frustration. Focusing on what we can control brings peace, as we no longer feel burdened by things outside our reach. This clarity of focus enables us to engage with the day more productively, freeing us from distractions that detract from our goals. Practicing kindness and compassion as part of our morning intentions shapes the way we interact with others throughout the day. By starting the morning with a commitment to approach others with empathy, we nurture relationships based on respect and understanding. This kindness isn't just about external actions, it's a mindset that helps us navigate social interactions with patience and tolerance. Setting an intention for compassion builds emotional resilience, as we're less likely to be affected by negative encounters. This practice enriches our connections, fostering a sense of community and mutual support. A Stoic habit that profoundly impacts our mornings is preparing to face challenges with resilience. Life inevitably presents obstacles, and by mentally preparing for them each morning, we build the emotional strength to handle them gracefully. This readiness is not about expecting the worst, but about accepting that difficulties are part of growth. By embracing challenges with a resilient mindset, we reduce fear and anxiety, approaching the day's uncertainties with confidence. This resilience transforms how we experience hardship, empowering us to adapt and thrive regardless of circumstances. Incorporating these Stoic habits into our morning routine creates a foundation for a life rooted in purpose, calm, and strength. Each practice offers a way to start the day with clarity and focus, empowering us to approach each moment with wisdom and resilience. By embracing these habits, we cultivate a life of depth and fulfillment, making each day a meaningful step on the journey toward true inner peace. Starting each day with intention and strength allows us to face the world with resilience, and part of living with clarity is knowing when and how to invest our energy in others. Stoic philosophy teaches that while kindness and compassion are vital, it is equally essential to exercise discernment in our relationships. Offering help without boundaries can lead to emotional exhaustion, hinder personal growth, and even perpetuate dependency in others. The Stoics understood the importance of setting limits, advising us to deny assistance to those whose patterns or intentions may ultimately harm our peace or values. By learning who to help and who to step back from, we cultivate a life grounded in wisdom, self-respect, and balance. One important type of person to avoid helping is someone who consistently seeks pity rather than solutions. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on self-reliance and resilience, and constantly giving to someone who resists taking responsibility can trap both parties in a cycle of dependence. Helping someone who repeatedly plays the victim risks reinforcing their mindset of helplessness. Instead, encouraging them to find strength within helps promote genuine growth. Stepping back from offering endless pity-based assistance fosters independence and respects the Stoic principle of self-mastery. Another type to approach with caution is the manipulator, someone who may exploit kindness for personal gain without genuine regard for the giver. These individuals often use emotional tactics to pressure others into helping, manipulating situations to their advantage. By refusing to give in to manipulation, we protect our mental and emotional well-being. The Stoic emphasis on personal integrity reminds us that we are not obligated to please everyone, especially those who attempt to control through guilt or coercion. Drawing boundaries with manipulators allows us to maintain inner peace and self-respect. Those who refuse to respect boundaries are also best approached with careful discernment. Some people may push against set limits, expecting constant availability or assistance without regard for others' needs. The Stoics believed in maintaining personal balance, and constantly bending boundaries for others disrupts that balance. When we deny help to those who disrespect our boundaries, we reinforce the importance of mutual respect. Setting this standard prevents burnout, allowing us to offer support only where it aligns with our values and capacity. Honoring our own boundaries teaches others to respect them as well, fostering healthier relationships. Another group to consider avoiding is the person who chronically complains without seeking solutions. This behavior, focused on negativity without action, can drain energy and shift focus away from productive goals. Offering help to someone who is unwilling to change often enables their cycle of dissatisfaction, reinforcing a habit that Stoicism encourages us to transcend. By stepping back, we create space for those willing to take positive action. This choice respects our own mental clarity as we prioritize relationships that inspire growth over those rooted in stagnation. People who are unwilling to take responsibility for their actions are also best approached with boundaries. Stoic wisdom teaches that each person is accountable for their choices, and helping those who avoid responsibility can enable a mindset of dependence. When we deny assistance to those who refuse to own their actions, we encourage accountability, empowering them to seek solutions independently. This approach respects their potential for growth while also protecting our peace. By fostering accountability, we align with the Stoic value of self-reliance, creating space for relationships grounded in mutual responsibility. Individuals who frequently disrupt peace or harmony in others' lives may also be best approached with caution. The Stoics valued tranquility and believed in minimizing associations with those who bring conflict or drama. Helping those who continually disrupt harmony can pull us into cycles of negativity, detracting from our well-being. By denying assistance to those who thrive on chaos, we maintain emotional balance, focusing on relationships that promote mutual support. Choosing peaceful connections reinforces our commitment to inner calm, aligning our lives with the Stoic principle of harmony. Those who consistently ignore advice or guidance, even when seeking it, are also better approached with distance. Helping someone who repeatedly disregards suggestions can feel like a waste of energy, especially if they continue making choices that lead to repeated issues. The Stoics emphasized the importance of action aligned with wisdom, and offering guidance to those who do not listen may distract from supporting those who genuinely seek growth. By setting limits with those who ignore advice, we redirect our energy toward more meaningful connections, respecting our own time and efforts. Another type to avoid helping is the person who shows disrespect or lacks gratitude. Stoicism teaches us to value reciprocal respect, and offering assistance to those who lack appreciation can create a one-sided dynamic. When we help those who disrespect us, we may inadvertently enable patterns that undermine our self-worth. Setting a standard of mutual respect fosters healthy interactions, ensuring that our efforts are valued and reciprocated. This choice to deny assistance to those who are ungrateful reinforces the importance of respectful, balanced relationships, protecting our emotional well-being. Those who perpetually take without giving are best approached with boundaries. Some individuals continuously seek help without contributing to the relationship in return, creating an unbalanced dynamic that can lead to exhaustion. Stoicism values balance and reciprocity, and consistently giving to those who do not reciprocate disrupts this balance. By setting limits with those who only take, we create space for relationships that nourish and uplift. This boundary fosters connections that are both supportive and reciprocal, aligning our lives with the Stoic value of mutual respect. By exercising discernment in our relationships, we protect our mental and emotional peace, ensuring that our support is given in ways that align with our values and promote genuine growth. Stoicism teaches that helping others should come from a place of wisdom, honoring both our needs and theirs. Through these lessons, we cultivate a life of balanced compassion, preserving our strength while extending support where it truly matters. Each choice to set boundaries in relationships reinforces a life rooted in resilience, clarity, and self-respect. Setting boundaries in relationships is a powerful step toward preserving our peace, but the real mastery lies in cultivating calmness in any situation. Calm is not merely the absence of stress. It is a state of inner strength and clarity that allows us to face life's most challenging moments without losing ourselves in worry or fear. The wisdom of Stoicism offers profound guidance on developing this calmness, teaching us to remain composed even in the midst of uncertainty, chaos, or conflict. With these principles, we can learn how to navigate life's ups and downs with unshakable tranquility. The first cornerstone of staying calm is recognizing what lies within our control. Often, stress and anxiety stem from trying to manage things that are beyond our influence, whether it's others' opinions, outcomes, or external events. Stoicism teaches that by focusing only on what we can control, our actions, responses, and perspectives, we can free ourselves from unnecessary mental strain. This practice brings immediate relief, as it redirects energy from futile worry to constructive actions. When we accept that we can only shape our own choices, we unlock a profound sense of peace, navigating even turbulent situations with a clear mind. Cultivating a mindset of acceptance is another powerful tool for maintaining calm. Life is unpredictable, and there will always be circumstances beyond our expectations. Rather than resisting or fighting reality, Stoicism encourages us to embrace it, understanding that resistance only creates suffering. By accepting what is, we reduce the emotional turbulence that comes from clinging to what we wish were different. This acceptance is not passive. It is an active choice to find peace within the present, regardless of its challenges. This mindset strengthens resilience, helping us approach every situation with a calm, adaptable spirit. Practicing deep, mindful breathing is a practical technique to steady the mind and body in stressful moments. When we face tension or pressure, our breath often becomes shallow, which can increase feelings of anxiety. By consciously slowing down our breathing, we activate the body's relaxation response, calming both the mind and the heart. This simple practice of breathing deeply brings us back to the present, clearing away the clutter of worries. Mindful breathing allows us to reset, helping us regain composure and face each moment with renewed focus and calm. A powerful Stoic lesson for maintaining calm is to detach from the need for others' approval. Often, anxiety arises from worrying about others' opinions, fearing judgment or disapproval. Stoicism reminds us that true peace is found in internal validation rather than external praise. By focusing on our own values and principles, we reduce the impact of others' opinions on our emotional state. This independence from external validation empowers us to remain calm, as we are no longer swayed by the shifting tides of others' perceptions. With this detachment, we cultivate a sense of self-assuredness that sustains us in any situation. Embracing gratitude in difficult moments is another Stoic practice that enhances calmness. Even when faced with adversity, focusing on aspects of life for which we are grateful shifts our perspective from lack to abundance. Gratitude grounds us, reminding us of the positive elements that remain, even amid challenges. This focus on appreciation reduces feelings of anxiety or frustration, helping us maintain a balanced outlook. Practicing gratitude allows us to see each experience as part of a larger journey, creating a sense of calm rooted in the knowledge that there is always something to value, regardless of circumstances. Another key to calmness is the ability to step back and observe our thoughts without attachment. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-awareness, encouraging us to view thoughts as passing clouds rather than permanent truths. By observing our thoughts without identifying with them, we prevent emotional reactions from taking control. This practice allows us to distance ourselves from immediate reactions, choosing instead a measured response. Observing thoughts with detachment builds mental clarity, helping us remain calm even when our mind presents doubts or fears. This detachment creates a steady inner foundation, allowing us to face any situation with clarity and control. The power of reframing challenges is another Stoic approach to staying calm. Instead of viewing obstacles as threats, we can choose to see them as opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective transforms stress into curiosity, encouraging us to approach challenges with an open mind. By reframing difficulties as experiences that contribute to our strength and resilience, we reduce the intensity of fear or frustration. This mindset builds calmness, as we are no longer overwhelmed by adversity, but empowered to learn from it. Reframing challenges instills confidence, helping us face each moment with courage and stability. Setting realistic expectations is essential for maintaining a state of calm. Unmet expectations often lead to disappointment or stress, disrupting our peace. By approaching each day with a flexible mindset, open to outcomes rather than attached to them, we prevent unnecessary frustration. This expectation-free approach allows us to remain calm as we are prepared for both successes and setbacks. Realistic expectations create a foundation of resilience, helping us navigate life's uncertainties with ease. This acceptance of reality, rather than an ideal, strengthens our ability to face each situation with a balanced mind. Practicing self-compassion is another vital habit for sustaining calm. When faced with mistakes or setbacks, the mind may lean towards self-criticism, which only adds to stress. Stoicism teaches us to be gentle with ourselves, recognizing that errors are part of growth. By treating ourselves with the same understanding we extend to others, we create an internal environment of calm and support. Self-compassion reduces the pressure of perfectionism, helping us approach each day with patience and peace. This kindness toward ourselves strengthens resilience, allowing us to stay calm even when facing personal challenges. Maintaining a focus on the present moment is a core Stoic principle that enhances calm. Anxiety often arises from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, both of which pull us away from the present. By bringing our attention to the here and now, we free ourselves from mental noise, engaging fully with what is in front of us. This presence reduces stress, as we are no longer caught up in what-ifs or regrets. Focusing on the present builds a foundation of calm, helping us respond to each moment with full awareness and intentionality. Another practical method for maintaining calm is to take a brief pause before responding to any situation. The Stoics taught that a measured response prevents hasty decisions driven by emotion. By taking a moment to pause, whether through a deep breath or silent reflection, we allow ourselves to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. This pause gives space for clarity, helping us choose a response aligned with our values. This habit of intentional pausing cultivates calmness, as it creates a buffer between stimulus and reaction, allowing for thoughtful decision-making. Adopting a mindset of patience also plays a crucial role in staying calm. Life's events don't always unfold on our timeline, and a lack of patience can lead to frustration or stress. By cultivating patience, we learn to trust in life's natural flow, approaching each situation with an open heart. This patience allows us to face delays or setbacks with ease, understanding that progress often requires time. Patience nurtures a calm attitude as we release the need for immediate results and embrace each stage of growth. This calm acceptance of timing fosters resilience, helping us stay grounded no matter the pace of life. Embracing a minimalist mindset is another Stoic practice that contributes to calm. By focusing on simplicity, whether in our environment or our thoughts, we reduce mental clutter that often fuels stress. Minimalism encourages us to prioritize what is essential, creating space for clarity and peace. By letting go of excess, we create a mental environment that supports calmness, free from distractions or unnecessary worry. This minimalist approach aligns with the Stoic value of focusing on what truly matters, fostering a state of calm that supports well-being. A sense of humor can be a surprisingly effective tool for staying calm in any situation. The Stoics often used humor to lighten the weight of difficult moments, reminding themselves not to take life too seriously. Humor creates a mental distance from stress, allowing us to approach challenges with a lighter heart. This playful perspective reduces the pressure we place on ourselves, helping us navigate life's twists and turns with ease. By embracing humor, we cultivate resilience, learning to face each situation with both strength and lightness. These principles offer a path to maintaining calmness that is resilient, adaptable, and unshaken by external events. Each practice brings us closer to a state of inner peace, allowing us to navigate life's challenges with grace and clarity. By integrating these habits, we build a foundation of tranquility, empowering us to stay calm in any situation and live each day with unwavering strength and serenity. In our journey to overcome the grip of emotional dependency, we've uncovered the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that empowers us to take control, release what we cannot change, and find strength within. Each principle, from understanding the illusion of control to setting boundaries, detaching from emotional turmoil, and cultivating gratitude, serves as a toolkit for true emotional freedom. With these insights, we are no longer slaves to fleeting emotions or external validation. Instead, we become grounded, resilient, and prepared to live authentically, with a heart that knows peace and a mind that chooses clarity. If today's insights resonated with you, I'd love to hear which Stoic principle spoke to you the most. How do you plan to take back control over your emotions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep learning from each other and growing together. And if you're eager to dive deeper into Stoic philosophy and build a life of strength and balance, don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for more wisdom that can transform the way you approach life. See you in the next one.